Chapter 1471. After washing her hands, Feng Zhangxia couldn't help but complain to Zhao Yun. I say, girl, didn't Aunt say that this child needs to be educated properly? She's so young. She has to develop the habit of not pooping casually. Otherwise, what if this happens again? Zhao Yun'er knew that Feng Zhangxia was uncomfortable, so she said to Tiantian, did you hear that? Don't poo casually next time. Otherwise, if you poo on Annie again, she will beat you. Tiantian blinked her eyes, as if she understood what he said. After the first time, Feng Zhangxia didn't dare to hold Tiantian again, for fear that Tiantian would poo or pee again. Liang Jinxiao took Tiantian's hand and checked the heat rash on her body. He said to Zhao Yun'er, it's not difficult to get rid of the heat rash on the child's body. You can go to the mountain to pick some mint and boil it with water. Then use the water to bathe the child. This was a method used by the country people, and it was quite effective. Many children were born in the summer, and it was common for them to have heat rash. Tiantian's situation was not very serious. Zhao Yun'er frowned and confirmed, Mother, this child is only a few days old. Can I bathe her already? Zhao Yun'er had no experience in taking care of children, so she could only ask the elders. Liang Jinxiao smiled and said, Of course, the child can bathe the second day after birth. That's good. I'll pick some tea leaves later. Okay. After bathing a few more times, the heat rash on the child's body will probably go away. Okay, Mother, I know. Now that she knew the prescription to get rid of the heat rash, she didn't have to worry about Tiantian's heat rash. Zhao Yun'er chatted with Liang Jinxiao and the others. Then, she heard shouting from the second branch's room. Tianyu's mother, second sister-in-law, second brother is calling you. Feng Zhangxia patted Li Chueying. Li Chueying pursed his lips and said, You guys go ahead. I'll go in for a while. Second sister-in-law, go ahead. Yes. After seeing Li Chueying go in, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but ask, Mother, second uncle's, but hasn't recovered yet? It doesn't make sense. It's been so many days. How could it not have recovered? Liang Jinxiao shook his head and said, I don't know. Maybe the injury on your second uncle's, but was too serious, so he didn't recover. Zhao Yun'er did not believe it. Even if she broke her leg, she should have recovered after lying down for so long. Not to mention that it was just a spanking. Her bones and muscles were not hurt at all. She felt that Zhao Wenshui was lying on the bed on purpose. How nice it would be to lie in bed without having to work in the field and to have someone to take care of her. Living such a comfortable life, he naturally wouldn't admit that his injury had recovered. After Li Chueying came out for a while, he said helplessly to Liang Jinxiao and the other sisters-in-law, Hey, Tianyu's father said he was hungry and wanted to eat eggs and syrup. I'll go get him an egg and syrup. In the countryside, eggs and syrup were a good thing. Zhao Yun'er didn't expect that Zhao Wenshui, a man, would have the nerve to ask for it. Second sister-in-law, do you still have eggs in your house? Liang Jinxiao asked worriedly. Zhao Wenshui wanted to eat this and that every day. How could they afford it when they didn't have enough money? Chapter 1472. The sisters-in-law didn't say anything, but they knew very well in their hearts. Zhao Jing-er's in-laws gave her money to temporarily solve her urgent needs. If Zhao Jing-er continued to be lazy in the future, no matter how much money she had, it would probably run out. Thinking about it, Zhao Wenshui was really a bad person. He ran out to fool around outside, suffered, and couldn't move in bed. In the end, didn't he have to rely on his wife to serve him? But judging from Zhao Wenshui's current state, Zhao Wenshui didn't have a trace of repentance at all. This kind of person was really disgusting. If Li Chueying continued to live with him, she would suffer. Zhao Yun suddenly felt a little pity for people like Li Chueying, but she just kept it in her heart. At the moment, she didn't want to interfere with Li Chueying's matter. Li Chueying turned around and went to the kitchen to boil eggs and sugar water. Feng Zhangxia then told the sisters-in-law the gossip she heard outside. You still don't know? Second brother's situation is considered good. That shameless TCH. After being spanked, she still can't get up. Now, she can only stay in bed, and I haven't seen her go out for a few days. but she probably doesn't dare to go out after doing such a shameful thing. Is it really that serious? Qian Zholi gossiped. Of course it's true. I heard that her daughter wanted to ask our village's Dr. Sun to take a look. Dr. Sun originally agreed to take a look, but later refused. Why? Qian Zholi gossiped. Feng Zhangxia covered her mouth and snickered. It's funny. Think about it. Qian Chunxiu is a woman. How can a woman's big white but be seen by a man? Qian Zholi nodded and said, that's true. A woman's but really can't be seen by a man. That's why. Qian Zholi's but can't recover, so there's no way to get a doctor to take a look. Dr. Sun's wife refused. After all, if Dr. Sun took a look, who knows if there would be some gossip? It's so unpleasant. Yet Dr. Sun hadn't even rushed over to see him when his wife caught him halfway and dragged him back by the ear. She even scolded Qian Chunxiu's daughter. Haha, it's hilarious just thinking about it. Qian Chunxiu reaped what she sowed. Her buttocks probably won't recover. Which doctor would dare to show a woman's buttocks for his own reputation? Feng Zhangxia's words were filled with schadenfreude. Seeing the smile on Feng Zhangxia's face, Zhao Yuner couldn't help but sneer in her heart. What Feng Zhangxia said was not unreasonable. Qian Chunxiu deserved it. After leaving the third branch, Zhao Yuner left Tian in the care of Mu Lianfeng. She went up the mountain to look for some mint. She remembered that there was a lot of mint on the mountain, so it should be easy to find. After walking for a while, Zhao Yuner finally found the peppermint. She excitedly plucked the peppermint and put it into the basket on her back. Suddenly, she felt a strange noise behind her. It sounded like the sound of a person's footsteps stepping on leaves. Zhao Yuner quickly looked around, but she didn't see anyone. Could it be the sound of an animal walking past? It should be like that. There were many animals in the mountain forest. Maybe they would wander away in a while, and she wouldn't be able to find them. Chapter 1473. But suddenly, there was another burst of sound. Zhao Yuner's brows wrinkled, and she became vigilant. After being a police officer for so many years, she still had this level of concentration. This was obviously not right. It didn't seem like an animal. Could it be a person? But who was it? Why was it so mysterious? Could it be that it wanted to do something to her? Zhao Yun was too busy to continue harvesting the peppermint. She quickly got up and wanted to leave. Unfortunately, she had only taken a few steps when a figure suddenly attacked her from behind. The other party's martial arts were impressive. Zhao Yun didn't last long before she felt her vision go black and she fainted. Before she fainted, she was still wondering who this person was and why he wanted to attack her. What did he want to do? Would it be disadvantageous to her? No matter what, it was too late for her to think about this. She had fallen into someone else's hands and could only be manipulated. At this moment, Mu Lianfeng probably didn't know what had happened to her. At the same time, Tian, who was lying on the bed, suddenly cried loudly. Mu Lianfeng and Daodu rushed to the bed. What's wrong, Tian? Why are you crying all of a sudden? Little sister Tian, why are you crying? Both father and son frowned and looked at Tian worriedly. Tian was crying very miserably at this moment, as if she had encountered something sad that she had never experienced before. Daddy, is Tian hungry? Let's quickly feed her some goat's milk. Mu Lianfeng nodded and replied, okay. After warming the milk, Mu Lianfeng fed Tian some. Unfortunately, Tian didn't drink it at all. Thinking back to the last time, Tian cried, not because she was hungry, but because she wanted to pee. Mu Lianfeng quickly carried her. After a few days of walking, Mu Lianfeng was quite good at helping Tian pee. Okay, Tian, don't cry. Come pee. Pee. Mu Lianfeng kept peeing for a long time, but Tian didn't pee or poop. Mu Lianfeng was puzzled. She wasn't hungry, and she didn't want to pee. Why was Tian crying so hard? Daddy, why isn't it working? Daodu's delicate little face showed some concern. Mu Lianfeng shook his head. I don't know, Daddy. I don't know what's going on. Little Tian's. Why is she crying, Tian? I don't know. Mu Lianfeng shook his head with a worried expression. What should we do now? Daodu sighed heavily. He was extremely worried. Mu Lianfeng could only hug Tian and continue to coax her. All right, little darling, Don't cry, all right? If you continue crying, your throat will be damaged. Tian 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 Tian. Listen to daddy. Don't cry, wah wah wah. Tian Tian was still crying very sadly. Mu Yinfeng coaxed Tian Tian as he rocked her. This was the first time he was so patient with someone. Looking at the baby in his arms, all of his impatience disappeared. Unfortunately, after coaxing for a while, Tian Tian was tired from crying and stopped crying loudly. She was still sobbing. Daddy, we can only wait for Mommy to come back. Tian Tian must be crying because Mommy left. Daodu said. Mu Yinfeng felt that Daodu's words made a lot of sense. That should be the case. We'll have a solution when your mommy comes back. Chapter 1474. Wah wah wah. The toddler didn't seem to understand Mu Yinfeng's words. Her small mouth twitched, feeling very wronged. Seeing the toddler like this, Mu Yinfeng's heart couldn't help but ache. At this moment, he only hoped that Zhao Yun would come back quickly so that he could coax Tian Tian. However, after waiting for a long time, Mu Yinfeng still didn't see Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun left for 2 hours. If it was just a trip up the mountain, it wouldn't take so long, right? Could there have been an accident? Mu Yinfeng frowned, and there was a touch of worry between his eyebrows. His heart suddenly felt a little uneasy, as if something big had happened. Although he was worried, there was still nothing he could do. He could only continue to wait at home. After waiting for another hour, he still didn't see Zhao Yun come back. If this continued, the sky would turn dark. Daodu tugged at Mu Yinfeng's sleeve and said to Mu Yinfeng, Father, do you think something happened to Mother? Why hasn't she come back yet? Should we go up the mountain to look for Mother? Mu Yinfeng frowned and said to Daodu, Let's wait for another hour. If your mother doesn't come back, Father will go up the mountain to look for her. You wait at home. The mountain is dangerous. Don't go. Daodu nodded in agreement. The father and son waited at home for a while. At this moment, Zhao Yun still hadn't come back, so they confirmed that something must have happened to Zhao Yun. It was fine to leave Daodu at home, but Tian Tian was such a small child. It couldn't be left at home. Someone had to take care of her. Who said that the child was tired from crying? She had just been fed milk and had fallen asleep. However, he wasn't sure how long he would have to look for her in the mountain. Therefore, before going to look for Zhao Yun, Mu Yinfeng took Daodu and Tian Tian to Mulan's house. He decided to entrust Daodu and Tian Tian to Mulan's care. Mulan took care of Tian Tian better than Zhao Yun. Mu Yinfeng was very relieved to leave Tian Tian with Mulan. When Mulan heard that Zhao Yun hadn't come back from the mountain, she was very worried and anxious. She said to Yin leave Tian Tian with me. I'll take care of her. I'll let my husband go up the mountain with you. I'll let my husbands to go up the mountain to look for her. The more people. Yin to work. Help Tesses to twos to look to find her too. The more people. Extra. Is SCTino to beat. SMU Lon called out. Hua father. Hurry up and go with heir apparent. The two of you can go up the mountain together. You can help each other. By the way, bring a torch. It's getting dark. I don't think you can see the road clearly. Also, bring a knife as a self-defense tool. It'll be bad if you encounter any wild beasts. Zhu Eru had already prepared Mulan's instructions. He hurried up the mountain with Mu Yinfeng. The two of them searched for a long time, but they still couldn't find any trace of Zhao Yun. In the end, they were exhausted from searching. They didn't see any trace of her until the next morning. Finally, the two of them arrived at the place where Zhao Yun disappeared. Zhu Eru pointed to a basket and said to Mu Yinfeng, Heir apparent, look, isn't this Yun-er's basket? Mu Yinfeng stared at the basket. It really was Zhao Yun-er's. Yes, but the basket is here. Where's Yun-er? Mu Yinfeng frowned. He looked around the basket, but he couldn't find any trace of Zhao Yun. Chapter 1475. She was taken away. Yes, this basket was casually thrown on the ground. It is very obvious that it was done by someone. In my opinion, someone targeted Miss Yin and took Miss Yin away. Zhu Eru expressed his opinion. When Mu Yinfeng heard this, he felt that it made some sense. Since the basket was there, it meant that Zhao Yun was here at that time. There was no blood on the ground, so it was not because of some wild beast. If she was knocked out and taken away, then it was very likely. If so, then the matter was more serious. Mu Yinfeng's heart was full of worries. Who on earth took Yin'er away and why? Where is Yin'er now? How is she? Is she okay? Thinking of this, Zhao Yin'er may be in danger. Mu Yinfeng was even more worried. He was afraid that Zhao Yin'er would have an accident. Now he didn't know where Zhao Yin'er was, and he didn't know who was targeting Zhao Yin'er. Things became very difficult for a while. Even if he wanted to save Zhao Yin'er, at least he had a clue and knew where to start. Right? What should he do now? Mu Yinfeng's brows were tightly knitted together. He prayed in his heart that nothing happened to Zhao Yin'er. Zhu Eru said, "Sheet Siyi, it seems that Yin'er is not on this mountain. Let's go down the mountain?" Mu Yinfeng nodded. After searching for a night, Zhu Eru was afraid that he was tired. It would be good to let him go back and rest. As for him, he had to go back and think about it carefully. He had to find all the possibilities to find out who might have taken Zhao Yin'er away. With a worried heart, Mu Yinfeng went down the mountain. Daodu and Tian slept with Mulan at night. When Daodu saw Mu Yinfeng come back, he rushed to Mu Yinfeng and asked, "Father, did you find Mother?" Seeing Daodu's young and worried face, Mu Yinfeng's eyes had a touch of guilt. He shook his head and told Daodu the truth. "No, Father didn't find your mother." Hearing this, Daodu's eyes were covered with a layer of mist. His little mouth twitched as he said in a very aggrieved manner, "Daddy, then could it be that something happened to Mother? Would Daodu still have a chance to see Mother?" Mu Yinfeng took Daodu in his arms and softly said to Daodu, "Daodu, don't worry. Father will never let anything happen to Mother." "Father, is that true?" "Really, Father swears. I will definitely find Mother." After being comforted by Mu Yinfeng for a while, Daodu also calmed down. However, Mu Yinfeng himself was more anxious than anyone else. What he was most afraid of was that these people would harm Zhao Yin. Zhao Yin was a weak woman. How much could she resist? If something happened to her, he would inevitably feel guilty. More importantly, he would never allow Zhao Yin'er to leave him. It wasn't easy for him to meet a woman he liked. How could he let her disappear so easily from his side? When Mulan saw that Mu Yinfeng couldn't find Zhao Yin'er, her heart was full of worry. She didn't sleep well the whole night, and now that she heard this news, she felt even more upset. Zhao Yin was usually such a good person. Who in the world would be so ruthless to her? She only hoped that the heavens would protect Zhao Yin'er, who was such a good person, and that nothing bad would happen to Zhao Yin'er. "Lord Heir, if you go to find Yin'er, leave Daodu and Tian to me. I will help you take good care of them. You have to find Yin'er quickly. Don't delay for too long." Chapter 1476. Your Highness, there's no need to be so courteous with me. Yin has always helped our family. Now that she's in trouble, I'll naturally help where I can, Mulan replied. Mu Yinfeng responded, then told Daodu, take good care of yourself and your sister. Daddy will come back as soon as possible. I'll definitely bring Mother back safe and sound. You have to listen to Aunt Mulan for the next few days. Do you understand? Daodu nodded sensibly. Yes. Daddy, go find Mother quickly. Daodu will take good care of myself and my sister. Wait for Daddy and Mother to come back. Okay. After settling Daodu and Tian down, Mu Yinfeng hurried up the mountain. He told Mo Yin about what happened on the mountain, then hurried back to the Crown Prince's manor. After returning to the Crown Prince's manor, he could mobilize people and arrange for them to look for Zhao Yun. Perhaps they could find some clues. Mu Yinfeng thought about it. The person who kidnapped Zhao Yun could be Murong Shuang, Imperial Consort Hua, the Emperor, or the Prime Minister. Other than these people, he really couldn't think of anyone else. If it was Murong Shuang who kidnapped Zhao Yun, then the possibility was very high. After all, he and Murong Shuang were betrothed, and because of the Emperor's imperial edict, their marriage was annulled. Murong Shuang was definitely unwilling to accept it. With Mu Yinfeng's understanding of Murong Shuang, as long as Murong Shuang wanted something, She would never allow it to be taken away by others. Therefore, she would think of ways to snatch it back. In that case, it was very likely that she kidnapped Zhao Yun. Thinking of this, Mu Yinfeng decided to go find Murong Shuang first and see if Zhao Yun was with her. Murong Shuang wasn't in Yang City, but in the capital. Mu Yinfeng prepared a carriage and rushed to the capital without stopping to rest. After traveling for a day and a night, they finally arrived at the capital. As for Zhao Yun, it took her a long time to wake up after she was captured. When he woke up, he found himself in a carriage. The carriage was jolting up and down, and his body was about to fall apart. Her hands and feet were tied, and she couldn't move. Her mouth was gagged, and she couldn't speak. When Zhao Yun saw herself like this, she immediately understood that she had been kidnapped. Damn it, what kind of person was he? She had no enmity with him. So who did she offend? The carriage jolted for a while before coming to a stop. Zhao Yun felt that even if she was kidnapped, she should at least cushion her carriage with something soft. This jolting was simply unbearable. After the carriage stopped, someone lifted the curtains of the carriage. Zhao Yun saw two burly men. Woo woo woo, Zhao Yun made sound. She wanted to say something, but couldn't. Woo woo woo. Seeing that the men had confirmed that she was inside and were about to lower the curtains, Zhao Yun hurriedly made a lot of noise. Woo woo woo. The two men looked at each other and then looked at Zhao Yun. What does this woman want to say? I don't know. Let's not care about her. Let's just send her here. This isn't good, right? Why don't we let her say a few words and listen to what she wants to say? There's no one else here anyway. Maybe he's hungry or thirsty. Let's give him some water or something to eat. You seem to care a lot about this woman, the man teased. Chapter 1477. Since you think this woman looks good, why don't you take her? Anyway, there's nothing to do. Aya, that won't do. We can catch people, but we can't do this kind of thing. Yo, you have principles. You can control yourself. Anyway, I don't think this is good. We can't take advantage of a girl for nothing. We're paid to do things. If the employer doesn't ask us to do it, we can't do it. Okay. I was just casually mentioning it. It's up to you. Okay. The man untied Zhao Yun's hands and feet. Zhao Yun finally gasped for breath. Then, she said to the man, "Thank you." Hearing Zhao Yun actually say thank you, the man was slightly stunned. They had been doing this for so many years, but this was the first time they had encountered such a situation. Usually, after the cloth was pulled out of their mouths, they would scream and shout. However, Zhao Yun was a little different. Why was she so calm? She didn't seem to have much of a reaction. This woman was really interesting. The man replied, No need to thank me. No. I still have to thank you. Finally, I can say something. Otherwise, I would have suffocated to death. Zhao Yun secretly complained. She could tell that this man was still relatively kind-hearted. However, as this person said, taking someone's money to do things for them was just a way to make a living in this era. He couldn't blame them. Even if this man wasn't here, the person who wanted to kidnap her would definitely have found someone else. The man tugged at the corner of his mouth and smiled slightly. Are you hungry or thirsty? Do you want to eat something and drink some water? Zhao Yun nodded in response. She was indeed a little thirsty and hungry. The man handed over a sesame seed cake and a water bottle. My hands are tied. Why don't you untie them? The man hesitated, as if he was afraid that Zhao Yun would run away. Zhao Yun continued. You can help me tie the rope around my feet so that I can't break free. I won't be able to escape. The man thought about it and felt that it was true, so he untied the rope on Zhao Yun's hand. Then, he continued to pass the pancake and water to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun did not dislike it. After receiving it, she ate it directly. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, he felt much better. The man looked at Zhao Yun so calm and became more and more curious. This woman was really different from the ordinary people who had been kidnapped. However, the calmer he was, the more uneasy he felt. Could it be that he was thinking of some scheme? The man looked at Zhao Yun, but she didn't look like one. Zhao Yun said to the two men, Can you tell me who wants to catch me? Miss, you can't say that. We have to abide by our own rules. As for the employer's information, We can't reveal anything to outsiders. Zhao Yuna yelped and did not continue to ask. Since you don't want to say, then fine, I won't ask. The two men suddenly felt that Zhao Yuna was quite tactful. She didn't want to cause trouble with them, so it really saved them a lot of trouble. Since you can't tell me the employer's information, then can you tell me where I'm going now? Where's this road going? Zhao Yuna had decided to slowly fish for information. If she could fish out a little bit, she would be able to grasp more information and ensure her safety. Chapter 1478. Are you going to keep this a secret? It shouldn't be a big deal, right? The two men finally said, We're on our way to the capital. We'll send you there. I see. Zhao Yuna thought for a while. The capital? There were too many people in the capital. Was it Mu Yanfeng's cousin or Mu Yanfeng's political enemy? Or was it Imperial Consort Hua, who caused trouble for her last time? The Emperor punished the people who smashed her breakfast stall and caused trouble. Imperial Consort Hua probably bore a grudge and came to cause trouble for her now. Because there were too many possible people, Zhao Yuna was not sure who was the one who wanted to capture her. She couldn't get any information from the two men. It seemed that she had to escape. She couldn't just let herself be sent there, right? If she fell into the hands of those people who knew what would happen and what kind of trouble she would get into. That, two little brothers, I've been holding it in for so long. I want to go to the toilet. I wonder if the two of you can untie my legs and let me go? Zhao Yuna looked at the two men awkwardly. That won't do. If we untie you, what if you run away? How are we going to explain it to the employer? Two little brothers, don't worry. I won't run away. It's really uncomfortable to hold it in. If I keep holding it in, I'll die. No, then what should I do? I won't be in my pants, right? That's two little brothers. Why don't you give me 3 minutes? If I don't come over, you can chase after me. I'm a woman. I can't run far in such a short time. Even if you chase after me, you can catch up with me in a while. Don't you think so? Zhao Yuna blinked, looking innocent and harmless. The two men looked at each other and felt that what Zhao Yuna said made sense. How far could a woman run in 3 minutes? Naturally, she wouldn't be able to beat them. Why don't we just let her go? It's definitely uncomfortable to hold it in. Then we have to watch from the side. We can't let her find a chance to slip away. Otherwise, wouldn't we have worked for nothing? Zhao Yuna hurriedly said, Okay, you just have to turn your backs to me. I'll be fine soon. The two men agreed and untied the rope on Zhao Yuna's feet. Zhao Yuna found a place with a lot of vegetation and asked the two men to stand 5 meters away and turn around. After the two men turned around, Zhao Yuna hurriedly ran away with light hands and feet. He would try his best to run as long as he could in 3 minutes. At least it was a chance. If he didn't even try, he wouldn't be able to escape. Who knew what he would encounter next? What would he do if he encountered any danger? All she could do now was to try her best to save herself. Zhao Yuna was exhausted after running for a while. After a bumpy day, Zhao Yuna didn't have much strength left. Soon, Zhao Yuna realized that the two men who had caught her had caught up with her. Zhao Yuna tried her best to run, but she still couldn't outrun the two men. Probably because she was too tired, her legs went soft when she ran, and she fell forward. The two men had already caught up to her and grabbed her. Woman, didn't you say that you wouldn't run? Why did you run again? We trusted you too much. Chapter 1479. UB*TCH. If you run away, our efforts will be in vain. We trusted you, but you betrayed us. The two men appeared to be a little angry. Zhao Yuna knew that she was in the wrong, so she did not say anything more. This time, she was caught by the two men again. Zhao Yuna was not so lucky. She was directly tied up by the two men, not giving her a chance to resist. Her mouth was also covered with a cloth, so she could not break free. In this way, Zhao Yuna was brought to the capital by these people during the bumpy and torturous journey. This was her first time in the capital. However, her body was tied up, so she could not see the situation outside the carriage. In the end, she did not know where the two men brought her. After she was taken away, she was put in a gunny sack, then sent to a firewood room and locked up. Other than when someone sent some rice over during meal times, there was no one at all. The door was locked, and her body was tied up with ropes. She had no ability to resist at all. Zhao Yun saw that these people only tied her up and did not do anything to her. She thought that they did not want her life. Otherwise, they would have taken action long ago and would not have done nothing until now. Zhao Yun now eliminated the possibility in her heart. If it was Murong Shuang or Imperial Consort Hua, they would have already come to her to show off in front of her. They would not ignore her after locking her up and would not come to find trouble with her. It was very likely that they were Mu Lianfeng's political enemies. They probably wanted to capture her and threaten Mu Lianfeng, right? Thinking about it, the political enemies were really despicable. They actually used a woman to threaten her. Didn't they feel ashamed? TSK, 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 how interesting. When Zhao Yun had nothing to do, she thought about how she could escape. She guessed that she was now in the mansion of some high-ranking official. With such a big courtyard, it would not be easy to escape. In addition, her hands and feet were tied, and it would not be easy to break free. As long as she could get rid of the rope on her body, the lock on the door would be easy to deal with. She had been a police officer for so many years in the 21st century and had caught thousands of thieves. Among those thieves, there were quite a few who were skilled in picking locks. She had seen the thief's demonstration. Although his lock-picking skills were not as good as theirs, it was still okay. A lock from the 21st century was much more complicated than an ancient lock. If she could open it, she would be able to do so. In the evening, another maidservant brought her food and prepared to feed her. Jacques then said, "This younger sister, I don't have an appetite for the time being. I can't eat. Can you put the food down first and wait until I'm hungry to eat?" The young maidservant was simple-minded and didn't think too much. She just asked worriedly, "How are you going to eat if I don't feed you?" It's fine. Just leave me a few steamed buns. I can eat them myself." The young maidservant hesitated for a moment before saying, "All right then. I'll throw you 3 steamed buns and 1 steamed bun. I'll take the rest first." Zhao Yun nodded. "Okay. Thank you, little sister. You're welcome." The young maidservant tidied up and gave her a bowl filled with steamed buns. After the young maidservant locked the door and walked away, Zhao Yun's eyes suddenly became serious. Chapter 1480. In this woodshed, there were too few things that she could use. If she wanted to untie the rope on her body, she could only find something blunt. The only thing she could think of was to smash the bowl and use the mouth of the bowl to slowly cut the rope on her body. Zhao Yun picked up the smashed bowl and chopsticks and slowly cut the rope. This rope was very thick, and it was a bit laborious to cut it, but it could not be rushed. Zhao Yun slowly cut the rope. In the end, it took nearly an hour. Her wrist was a little sore from the cutting, but she finally cut the rope on her body. Then, he hurriedly untied the ropes on his feet. With freedom, Zhao Yun went to the door and looked through the crack of the door. At this time, the sky was a little dark, but there was no one guarding outside the door. They probably thought that she was a woman, tied up and locked, and did not have the ability to run out. It was good that there was no guard, otherwise she would not have the chance to run out. Fortunately, the hairpin on her head was still there. Zhao Yun took off the hairpin on her head and fiddled with it. After a while, she saw the lock on the door open. Zhao Yun hurriedly ran out. When she saw people, she quickly avoided them. However, what made Zhao Yun despair was that she did not know where she was. After running for a long time, she did not find the exit at all. In the end, she actually got lost. If she could not get out, she would be waiting to be caught. She had been away for too long, and she would definitely be discovered. She did not know if she was discovered escaping, but many servant girls and other guards in the residence were out looking for her in the courtyard. Zhao Yun had no choice but to hide in a courtyard. This courtyard was very remote and full of weeds. It was estimated that everyone lived here. If she hid here, it would be very safe. Just as Zhao Yun entered the courtyard, she heard a few light footsteps coming towards her. Zhao Yun hurriedly hid in the haystack and was almost discovered. A few maidservants came to the front of the courtyard and stopped to listen. They only heard the maidservants discussing. "Are we really going to this courtyard to take a look? Then what should we do? Master asked us to search the entire residence. We have to search every corner carefully. We must find him, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't dare to enter. I don't dare to go in either. I heard it's haunted. Yes, sometimes when I pass by, I can still hear the screams inside. I also heard that when someone passed by, they saw a ferocious-looking monster. It's very scary. I wonder if it's a ghost? After the discussion, the maidservants became more and more afraid. The ancient people were most afraid of things like ghosts and monsters. They didn't dare to provoke ghosts and monsters. Well, shouldn't we go inside to look for them? What if Master blames us? Let's not talk about it. We'll just say that we've already searched the place and no one knows. Right. We've already said that we'll look for them. This place looks so gloomy. It's too scary. I don't want to have nightmares when I go back. Well, then let's not go inside. I don't dare to go in anyway. After several maidservants discussed for a while, they finally decided not to go to the courtyard to see, but let Zhao Yun'er escape a calamity. Chapter 1481. Otherwise, if she was discovered by these people and brought back, she would not be able to escape. If she was caught again, there would definitely be people watching her. Sometimes it was like this. There was only one chance, so she must not miss it. After waiting for these servant girls to walk far away, Zhao Yun'er came out from the bushes. It was summer and it was very hot. There were many mosquitoes in the bushes. If she continued to stay in there, she reckoned that she would be bitten by these mosquitoes and have a bunch of blisters on her body. Zhao Yun'er looked at the courtyard again. The grass and trees in the courtyard were messy. It was different from other courtyards. At a glance, it was obvious that no one took care of it. That was why it was like this. Could it be that what these servant girls said was true? Because there was a ghost in the house, it was abandoned? A gust of wind blew. Zhao Yun'er felt her whole body shiver. She did not know why, but there was a sudden chill in her body. It was a kind of chilling feeling. Zhao Yun'er was stunned for a moment. Her heart began to fear. Could there really be ghosts in this courtyard? If it was in the 21st century, Zhao Yun'er did not believe in ghosts and gods. Now that she had transmigrated, there were many things that science could not explain. Perhaps ghosts and gods also existed in this world. It was just that because of atheism, many people did not believe in ghosts and gods. Zhao Yun'er's mind was tense. Now that there were so many people in the residence looking for her, once she went out, she would definitely be caught. It seemed that she had to hide and avoid. This haunted courtyard seemed to be the safest place for now. Tonight, she could only make do here. When the people in the residence stopped looking for her, she would see if there was a chance to escape. In this courtyard, there were many weeds and trees. There was also a dilapidated house. At this time, the night was not very dark. Because of the bright moon hanging in the sky, the scene in the courtyard was illuminated. It was not a problem to sleep outside at night. With so many mosquitoes, she would definitely be bitten to death. Zhao Yun'er wanted to make do with the dilapidated house for a night. The insects inside would definitely be better than outside. Thinking of this, Zhao Yun'er quietly went to the dilapidated house. Looking inside, it was dark and she did not see anything. After overcoming the trace of fear in her heart, Zhao Yun'er pushed open the door and went in. What surprised Zhao Yun'er was that it was obviously an abandoned house. After entering, she found that the furniture inside was complete and it was clean as if someone had cleaned it. The most important thing was that there was a very fresh smell. This didn't look like an abandoned house. It was obvious that someone was living here. What was going on? Zhao Yun'er frowned and thought, but she couldn't think of a reason. Could it be that ghosts had requirements for where they lived, and it must be clean and tidy? She did not have time to think so much. Zhao Yun'er groped her way to the bed. Since this place was not bad, it was even better. She could stay a little more comfortably tonight. Zhao Yun'er lay down on the bed. It was soft and very comfortable. Zhao Yun'er just closed her eyes and was about to sleep. Suddenly, she felt someone nudging her. Zhao Yun'er was scared and immediately straightened her body. She met a pair of pitch-black pupils. When she saw the person's face, Zhao Yun'er was so scared that she screamed. Chapter 1482. Thinking of what those servant maids said, Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but scream. Ghost! Hearing Zhao Yun'er's cry, this person was obviously a little displeased. The cold man's voice reached Zhao Yun'er's ears. If you're not afraid that the people outside will hear you and take you away, you can continue to shout. After being warned by this man, Zhao Yun'er immediately calmed down. She really shouldn't have made any noise, especially with so many people in the courtyard. If she shouted, it would be very easy for others to hear her. Ghosts shouldn't be able to speak, right? Or rather, they wouldn't talk to her like this. The person in front of her should be someone whose face was disfigured. Since he was human, there was nothing to be afraid of. Zhao Yun'er quickly calmed down. The man's words just now clearly didn't mean to hand him over. Otherwise, he wouldn't have reminded her. Zhao Yun'er sized up the man in front of her. Why did such a person appear out of nowhere? Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was looking at him without the slightest bit of fear and that she was unusually calm, which was very different from the average person, the man also developed some curiosity and interest toward Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er looked at the man for a while, then asked weakly, "May I ask, who are you and why are you here?" The man snorted and said, "I should be the one asking you this question. Who are you? Why did you come back to me? Why are the people outside tracking you?" Being sized up by the man's sharp eyes, Zhao Yun'er trembled, thinking about what to say. Would this man sell her out? Her current situation was really a little difficult. The man saw that Zhao Yun'er's eyes kept rolling, but she didn't say anything. The corner of his mouth hooked up. "Why aren't you saying anything? Are you afraid?" Zhao Yun'er thought for a moment, then shook her head and said, "Afraid? What am I afraid of? Actually, I'm not a person. I'm just an ordinary farmer's wife. Who knew that I would be kidnapped here when I was doing well at home? I don't even know where this is. I can't stay here any longer. What if they want to do something to me? That's why I ran away. Unfortunately, this courtyard is too big, and I don't know the way, so I couldn't run out at all. Later, I was discovered to have slipped away, and many people were sent to find me. I had no choice but to hide here." When the man heard this, he was silent for a moment, thinking about the truth of Zhao Yun'er's words. Zhao Yun'er added, "I heard that this place is haunted. Those servants are very afraid, so they don't dare to come here. It's very safe here. I accidentally trespassed on your turf, but I still hope that you won't hold it against me. Take me in, and I'll find a chance to sneak out tomorrow." The man stared at Zhao Yun'er and smiled. With his disfigured face, he looked even more sinister and scary. The man's cold voice rang out. "You said you're an ordinary peasant woman?" "I don't believe it. Woman, you don't look simple at all." The man said this because he didn't believe what Zhao Yun'er said. In the man's eyes, peasant women were women who didn't know much. Zhao Yun'er handled things calmly, and when facing him, she spoke in an orderly manner. It was obvious that ordinary women couldn't do that. Zhao Yun'er wasn't a simple character. How could she be an ordinary peasant woman? Chapter 1483. Believe you? We don't know each other, and I don't even know who you are. Why should I believe you? The man looked at Zhao Yun'er from head to toe, as if he wanted to see through Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er was a little speechless. "Since you already believe that I'm lying, you won't believe me no matter what I say. It's useless for me to explain further." The man fell silent for a while. She didn't know what he was thinking. "Hey, I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying to you. Look, I'm dressed like a peasant woman." The man chuckled. "Clothes are nothing. Do you think you're someone just because you're dressed like that?" Hearing the man's question, Zhao Yun'er only felt tired in her heart. Was she so special that the man didn't believe that she was just a peasant woman? Zhao Yun'er was worried that the man would hand her over if he doubted her identity. If that happened, she would have to be locked up again. Zhao Yun'er rubbed her forehead and sighed. "What kind of person do you think I am? Tell me about it." "I don't know, but I don't think it's simple. Otherwise, everyone in the manor wouldn't have spent so much effort to find you, right?" Well, it seemed to be true. The man had a reason to doubt her. If she was really just an ordinary peasant woman, he wouldn't have spent so much effort to kidnap her. Although she didn't know the man's purpose, facing the man, Zhao Yun'er sighed. "I'm indeed an ordinary peasant woman, but my husband isn't an ordinary man. I was kidnapped this time to threaten my husband. Although I don't know who you are, I don't think you're a bad person." The man seemed to be amused. It was the first time that he heard someone say, that he wasn't a bad person. How do you know that I'm not a bad person? Why you trust me so much? Well, it's just my intuition. I just feel that you're not a bad person. If you were a bad person, shouldn't you have sold me out long ago? Oh, you think too much. I just think you're interesting, so I want to watch the fun. I have no intention of helping you. Besides, I've never been a good person. Now that you're with me, you may face danger at any time. Maybe I'm in a bad mood, so I don't think you're interesting, so I handed you over. Zhao Yun'er's heart couldn't help trembling. She felt that this man was a little strange. However, it was strange that a disfigured person living in such a dilapidated house. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er did not speak, the man teased, "Why? Are you afraid? Are you scared by me?" If this man really sold her out, wouldn't she have to accept her fate? The worst-case scenario was that she would be arrested again. She just didn't know what Mu Lianfeng would be threatened to do. There was an unfathomable look in the man's eyes. "If you're not afraid, you can stay here. I'll give you this bed." She didn't know why the man suddenly changed the topic. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly said, "If you give me the bed, what will you do?" "Not my business." "Well, I'm leaving now." "Wait." Zhao Yun'er stopped the man again. Chapter 1484. Zhao Yun'er's face suddenly turned red. This man, what nonsense is he talking about? She glared at the man angrily and said, "You're thinking too much. You haven't told me where this is. I need to know who kidnapped me, right?" The man thought for a moment and told Zhao Yun, "This is the residence of the Minister of War." Zhao Yun'er said, "Oh." She did not urge the man to stay, lest he think too much again. After the man left, Zhao Yun'er continued to lie on the bed. She was exhausted from the 2 days of bumps and bumps. She did not lie on the bed and get a good night's sleep. Now that she had a big, soft bed to lie on, she felt blessed. Zhao Yun'er thought about it. The man who was disfigured actually had some kindness in his heart. At least he did not betray her. His words were sharp. Most importantly, he gave her such a big and soft bed. Zhao Yun'er felt that she was too easy to bribe. She immediately felt that he was a good person just because he gave her a bed. Zhao Yun'er, who was lying on the bed, did not fall asleep immediately. Instead, she pondered. If this was the residence of the Minister of War, then the Minister of War would have kidnapped her. Zhao Yun'er had never paid attention to the affairs of the imperial court. Hence, she did not know who the Minister of War was, nor did she know the relationship between the Minister of War and Mu Lianfeng. The more she thought about it, the more tired Zhao Yun'er felt. She did not know if Mu Lianfeng could find her. What was Dao doing? Was he taking care of Tian Tian? There were too many things that she was worried about after she left. She wanted to live a peaceful life in the countryside, but reality did not allow it. What else could she do? She only hoped that she would not implicate Mu Lianfeng. She hoped that she would be able to escape and live a peaceful life when she returned home. Unknowingly, Zhao Yun'er fell asleep. When he woke up, it was already the next morning. On the other hand, Mu Lianfeng had already arrived at the capital city. In the capital, they had already sent people to look for Zhao Yun'er, but they couldn't find her. At this moment, they were very anxious. Every second he wasted, Zhao Yun'er would be in more danger. Therefore, Mu Lianfeng could only find Zhao Yun'er as soon as possible. Mu Lianfeng immediately went to his cousin's residence, Murong Manor. His aunt's family had some influence in the capital. His uncle's title was even higher than his family's. Because of his high position, he had quite a bit of prestige in the capital. The news of Mu Lianfeng's arrival quickly reached Murong Shuang's ears. Murong Shuang had been heartbroken these days because her marriage had been annulled by the emperor. Not being able to be with Mu Lianfeng was the most painful thing for her. Because of this, she had been extremely depressed these days and had lost a lot of weight. Now, when Murong Shuang heard that Mu Lianfeng had come and had even taken the initiative to look for her, she was extremely excited. After all, this cousin of hers had never taken the initiative to look for her. Could it be that his cousin had changed his mind and was willing to marry her? Murong Shuang was very excited at the thought of this. She quickly called out to the servant girls who served her in the room and said, "Quickly come and help me freshen up. I want to see my cousin later." Because she had been very depressed these days, Murong Shuang did not care about her appearance and was very casual. Chapter 1485. If you didn't dress up beautifully in front of Mu Yinfeng, how would she be able to attract Mu Yinfeng? The servant girl hurriedly responded and went forward to dress Murong Shuang up. First, she picked out a brighter piece of clothing from the wardrobe, which would make her look more youthful and lively. After Murong Shuang changed her clothes, the maidservant could not help but say, "My lady, you've lost a lot of weight these days. Look at the clothes you're wearing, they're a lot bigger." The servant girl's tone revealed a little heartache. Because the emperor had canceled the betrothal, Murong Shuang basically didn't eat or drink much, which caused her to suddenly weigh 10 pounds. The clothes that were originally fitting suddenly became a lot bigger. Murong Shuang took a look. The clothes were a little too big, but in this short period of time, there was no way to make clothes. So she said, "That's it. I'll just wear it for a while. Hurry up and tidy up my hair and face." "Yes, miss." The servant girl stepped forward and hurriedly combed Murong Shuang's hair into a bun. Then, she picked out some pretty jewelry and dressed Murong Shuang up well. "Miss, do you think this looks okay?" The servant girl asked Murong Shuang after she was done. Murong Shuang looked at herself in the mirror. She was a little thinner. She was a little less skinny because of the rouge on her face, so her complexion looked pretty good. Most importantly, her face was already good-looking. After a little dressing up, she was extraordinarily beautiful. Murong Shuang's eyes revealed a trace of satisfaction. At this moment, she was in a very good mood because Mu Yinfeng was here. She would be able to see the man she loved in a while. This kind of joy was on her face at the same time. Murong Shuang replied to the servant girl, "It's done. It's done. That's it. My cousin must be waiting anxiously. I have to hurry over." The servant girl nodded. "Miss, young Master Biao is in our manor's imperial garden." Murong Shuang responded and happily walked toward her own garden. She didn't bring the servant girl with her, as she knew that the servant girl would be a hindrance. No one wanted a third wheel by their side. Mu Yinfeng stood in the back garden of the Murong Manor, waiting quietly. His face was a little heavy, and he was worried about Zhao Yun'er's safety. If his cousin really did something to hurt Zhao Yun'er, he wouldn't let her go easily just because she was his cousin. "Cousin." Murong Shuang saw a man in a white brocade robe standing by the pond. His tall and straight back looked very charming, so she called out in a joyful voice. She then quickened her steps and walked to Mu Yinfeng. She thought Murong Shuang's cousin, Murong Shuang. Of course, of the Murong Shuangs. What disappointed Murong Shuang was that when Mu Yinfeng turned around, he had a cold expression on his face. There seemed to be some displeasure on his face. Murong Shuang's heart suddenly sank, and she called out weakly, "Cousin." Murong Shuang was about to ask why her cousin came to see her when she heard Mu Yinfeng's questioning voice. "Cousin, is Yun'er with you? Did you take her away?" Murong Shuang was stunned. She looked at Mu Yinfeng in confusion and said, "Cousin, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand?" Chapter 1486. Murong Shuang opened her mouth. Faced with Mu Yinfeng's puzzling words, she didn't know where to start. Looking at Mu Yinfeng's expression, Murong Shuang knew that Mu Yinfeng was really angry, and it was a very serious kind. "Cousin," Gu Ning said. "Cousin, do you want me to make it clearer? We are relatives. I don't want our relationship to be too stiff, but you can't challenge my bottom line." "Cousin." Murong Shuang suddenly felt very wronged. What on earth had she done? Why didn't she know it herself? Her heart, which was originally full of joy, was suddenly poured with a basin of cold water. It was extremely cold. "I really don't know what you're talking about, and I don't know what you're accusing me of. However, I can clearly say that I didn't do anything. If there's anything, please don't accuse me of it." Murong Shuang took a deep breath and said in a slightly sad tone. Mu Yinfeng's sharp eyes fell on Murong Shuang, as if he was sizing her up. Murong Shuang felt even more upset when Mu Yinfeng doubted her. She said to Mu Yinfeng, "Cousin, are you doing this for that woman? Did something happen to that woman? Is that why you think I did it? Don't you think it's too much for you to hurt me like this for a woman?" Mu Yinfeng's expression changed slightly when he saw Murong Shuang crying sadly. After all, she was his family, so he couldn't bear to see her like this. But when he thought of Zhao Yin, Mu Yinfeng knew that he had to be cold-hearted to this cousin of his. Otherwise, according to Murong Shuang's character, she would only do something more serious to Zhao Yin'er. Cousin, there's a limit to my tolerance. I know that Yin'er is with you. If you hand over Yin'er now, I can let it go. If you don't hand her over, I will find out that it was you who kidnapped Yin'er in the future. Then, don't blame me for not being merciful to you. Murong Shuang only felt that it was ridiculous. She stood in front of Mu Yinfeng and said with a smile, but there was sadness in her smile. Cousin, so that B*TCH was kidnapped. But I'm sorry to disappoint you. She's not with me. You should be glad that she's not with me. If she was with me, I would kill her with my own hands. At this moment, Murong Shuang's hatred for Zhao Yun had reached the extreme. It was all because of this woman, Zhao Yun. If it wasn't for Zhao Yun, her cousin wouldn't care about any other woman. When faced with Imperial Consort Hua's marriage, he might have obeyed Imperial Consort Hua and be with her. Because of a woman like Zhao Yun, it hurt the affection that they had built up as cousins for so many years. It was really not worth it. Obviously, in Mu Yinfeng's heart, Zhao Yun'er's position was much more important than hers. For the sake of A*TCH, Mu Yinfeng had shed all pretense of cordiality and said such hurtful words to her. It would be a lie to say that she wasn't heartbroken. As for Zhao Yun'er, Murong Shuang had the heart to kill her at this moment. After hearing Murong Shuang's words, Mu Yinfeng's eyes were suddenly stained with blood. Chapter 1487. Murong Shuang was frightened by Mu Yinfeng's horrifying side, and for a moment, she did not continue to speak. Her hatred for Zhao Yun did not diminish, and she blamed Mu Yinfeng's change in attitude towards her on Zhao Yun. Cousin, I'll ask you one last time. Is Yun with you? Murong Shuang bit her lower lip. Cousin, if I said she wasn't, would you believe me? Aren't you certain that something happened to that B*TCH and that it was me who did it? Unfortunately, I didn't do anything to her this time. If you don't believe me, I can't do anything about it. Mu Yinfeng observed Murong Shuang's expression. He knew his cousin very well. If she lied, her eyes would avoid looking at other people's matters. This was the guilt after lying. This time, Murong Shuang's eyes were very open, and she was not lying. Mu Yinfeng's brows furrowed even deeper. If it wasn't his cousin who took away Zhao Yun'er, then who could it be? Where was his Yun'er now, and was she still safe and sound? Mu Yinfeng felt anxious and uncomfortable when he thought that Zhao Yun'er might be in danger. Since it wasn't you, then forget it, Mu Yinfeng said in a low voice, and prepared to leave. Murong Shuang was a little unwilling to let it go. Cousin, you came all the way here to find me, and you just left when you couldn't find her? Are you so heartless to me? Tell me, what's so good about that B*TCH? I really want to know. How did a little peasant woman in the countryside charm you so? Mu Yinfeng said coldly. You've asked me your question before, and I've explained it to you. Cousin, in this life, we're only destined to be brother and sister, and we can't be husband and wife. So, you'd better give up on this idea, or you'll be the one who'll be sad. After saying that, Mu Yinfeng did not want to be entangled and stay here for too long. He put down his sleeve and turned to leave. Looking at Mu Yinfeng's back, a line of clear tears flowed down Murong Shuang's cheeks, and she couldn't help but sob. Cousin, you're so cruel, so cruel. He treated her like this for a country bumpkin. Although she was sad, after crying, Murong Shuang's eyes suddenly became fierce. According to Mu Yinfeng's words, Zhao Yun was captured and taken away by someone. Mu Yinfeng suspected her. That was why he came to find her here and interrogate her. Murong Shuang thought about it. Zhao Yun, this woman, could not be left alive. She must die. She wanted to torture this woman to death with her own hands. Murong Shuang gathered the guards in the house. These people were all trained by the Murong family, and each of them was very capable. Then, She ordered these people to go to the capital to find Zhao Yun-er's whereabouts and strive to take Zhao Yun away before Mu Lianfeng. On the other side, Zhao Yun woke up and looked at the situation in the house. It was broad daylight, so she could see more clearly. Although the outside of the house looked very dilapidated, the inside was tidied up quite well with an antique feeling. The fragrance she asked about before should be the fragrance of sandalwood burning in the incense burner. Living in such a house was indeed much more comfortable than living in a small, dilapidated house in the countryside. However, Zhao Yun was still a little puzzled. Why did the disfigured man live in such a place? What was his identity? Was he a member of the Minister of War's mansion? Chapter 1488. The man greeted Zhao Yun. I've already prepared the things for you to wash up. Go wash up and come over to eat after you're done. Zhao Yun responded. She thought that this man was really considerate. He was considered a good person, right? At this time, Zhao Yun also noticed that this man was a little different from last night. He was wearing a silver mask that covered his disfigured face. Without revealing the other half of his disfigured face, Zhao Yun felt that this person was quite handsome. His facial features were very delicate, and he had a pair of sword-like eyebrows. He was very heroic, and his deep eyes were like a deep pool that one could not see the bottom of. His nose was high, and his facial features were very three-dimensional. If the other half of his face was not disfigured, he was really good-looking. In the 21st century, he would definitely be considered a handsome man. Seeing that Zhao Yu had been looking at him for a while, the man's brows furrowed. He looked at Zhao Yun, raised his eyebrows, and asked, "Why are you looking at me like that? Is there something on my face?" Zhao Yun, quickly shook her head and said, No, I just noticed that you're wearing a silver mask on your face. Why didn't I see you wearing it last night?" The corners of the man's mouth curled up slightly, and there seemed to be an indescribable sadness in his smile. However, the man's emotions were quickly restrained by himself, and he returned to normal in an instant. He said to Zhao Yun, as if he was joking, "At night, when it's dark, you can't see my face clearly, so it won't scare you too much. But during the day, if you see my face clearly, I'm afraid it will scare you." Zhao Yun could tell that the man cared about his appearance, and there was a faint sadness in his tone. But then again, who in this world did not care about their appearance, especially women? Otherwise, in the 21st century, there would not be so many women buying cosmetics, and there would not be so many women who would go for plastic surgery. Zhao Yun, comforted the man. "Actually, you're quite good-looking. If half of your face was disfigured, you would definitely be a handsome man. What a pity. Fortunately, you're wearing a silver mask. You look very handsome like that." The man had never heard anyone call him that before. People who had never seen his face would be scared and shout that he was a monster or a ghost. Therefore, he also got used to his very ugly face. In the man's eyes, Zhao Yun's words were just polite words. "Go wash up and come and eat." Zhao Yun hurriedly. After washing, Zhao Yun and the man sat opposite each other at the table and began to eat breakfast. She didn't know where this man got the breakfast, but it was quite sumptuous. Crystal fried dumplings, side dishes, steamed buns, and white rice porridge. Even Zhao Yun couldn't eat such good food at home in the countryside. He took a bite and found that it tasted pretty good. The cook hired by this rich family was really good. After eating with satisfaction, Zhao Yun asked the man's name. "I've asked you to take care of me for a night. It's fate that we can meet each other. May I know your name?" The man hesitated and said, "Chu Sun. My name is Zhao Yun." "Great." The man nodded. When Zhao Yun stood up and was about to leave, the man said, "If you want to sneak out of the house, I'm afraid it won't be so easy." Chapter 1489. Chu Sun explained, "Because of the trouble you caused, the guards in the minister's mansion have been strengthened, and several doors are tightly guarded. Although there aren't as many people as last night, there are still special people patrolling. It won't be easy to escape from here." Hearing Chu Sun's words, Zhao Yun's brows were dyed with a touch of worry. She couldn't escape? Did that mean she had to stay in the minister's mansion? If she didn't go out for a day, Mu Lianfeng would be anxious. It was still not a good thing for Mu Lianfeng. Seeing Zhao Yun frowning, Chu Sun said, "Why don't you stay here for a few more days and find a chance to go out when you have a chance?" Zhao Yun knew that Chu Sun was kind enough to take her in. She didn't want to bother others too much, and indeed, she shouldn't stay in the mansion for too long. She had to go out as soon as possible. "Well, I'm afraid my husband will be worried about me." Zhao Yun sighed. "You're trapped here, and there's nothing you can do. If you go out now, I can only say that you'll be at great risk of being caught. If you want to take the risk, I won't stop you," Chu Sun said. Zhao Yun frowned and pondered whether she should take the risk or not. It would be fine if she won the bet, but what if she lost the bet? What should she do if she lost the bet? If she was caught, she would become a bargaining chip to threaten Mu Lianfeng. She didn't do anything for Mu Lianfeng, and she didn't want to be a burden to Mu Lianfeng. After hesitating for a while, Zhao Yun decided to stay here for the time being. She would wait for a chance to go out. She didn't want to try something that she wasn't very confident about. Zhao Yun, who stayed here, felt really bored. She couldn't go out to walk in a shabby small house. The owner of this shabby house, Chu Sun, didn't say anything more to her. There were many books in the house, and the man took a book to read. Zhao Yun glanced at it and found that Chu Sun was reading The Art of War. Although Zhao Yun had a lot of doubts about Chu Sun, she knew that Chu Sun didn't want to tell her. It was already very kind of him to take her in. He definitely wouldn't tell her his secrets. Just like herself, she was also unwilling to divulge her secrets to others. Chu Sun was quietly reading a book. Zhao Yun couldn't disturb him, so she sat at the table and supported her chin with her hand. To stop thinking of Mu and Dao Du Zhao, to kill, of. However, this ancient scripture was a little boring. As for classical Chinese, there were many sentences that she couldn't understand. After reading for a while, she actually dozed off. She lay on the table and fell asleep. When she woke up again, she was covered with a coat. It was Chu Sun's coat. "Well, thank you for your coat." Zhao Yun handed it back. Chu Sun took it and said indifferently, "It's okay. Don't you feel bored?" Zhao Yun couldn't help but ask. "Bored? Why would I be bored? Don't tell me that you've been living like this every day while you've been living here alone." Chu Sun nodded and responded indifferently. Chapter 1490. Chu Sun thought for a moment and said faintly, "It's been many years. I can't remember clearly." Hearing the man's words, Zhao Yun suddenly felt a lot of sympathy for this man. Since he couldn't remember, it meant that he had lived like this for many years. How lonely must that be? Zhao Yun really couldn't imagine it. If she lived like this, she definitely wouldn't be able to take it. Facing loneliness for so many years, it was really quite impressive. Seeing that Zhao Yun was looking at him strangely, Chu Sun asked, "What's wrong?" No, nothing." Zhao Yun shook her head. She couldn't tell Chu Sun that she was sympathizing with him just now. Many people didn't like to see others sympathizing with them. Thinking about it, Chu Sun was probably the same. After a while, Zhao Yun couldn't help but gossip again. Have you walked out of here before? Have you seen the outside world?" Chu Sun shook his head. "No. Won't I scare people if I go out like this?" Zhao Yun was speechless for a moment. Her mouth twitched, and she comforted Chu Sun that, "Actually, you think too much. In fact, you look okay like this. You don't look that bad. You definitely won't scare people when you walk out." Chu Sun's lips curled into a meaningful smile, as if he didn't quite believe Zhao Yun's words. Zhao Yun didn't say much. Chu Sun put down the book in his hand and looked out of the window. He said somewhat earnestly, Wait. Zhao Yun didn't know what this man was waiting for. Was it that hard to walk out? After experiencing the debauchery of the outside world, if this man came back and continued to be so bored, he probably wouldn't be able to bear it. The two of them didn't continue chatting. Zhao Yun waited for another day. If she continued to wait like this, she was afraid that she would be the one to die. Meanwhile, the people that Mu Lianfeng sent out to check on Zhao Yun didn't receive any response. In these few days, Mu Lianfeng became more and more uneasy to the extent that he didn't eat or drink much, and he lost a lot of weight. If not for the fact that he didn't have any real power in his hands, Mu Yinfeng really wanted to turn the entire capital upside down. If he searched every official's residence, he would definitely find Zhao Yun'er. After a few days without any results, the only person that Mu Yinfeng could think of was the only person who could help him. If the emperor sent someone to search, they might be able to find the whereabouts of Zhao Yun'er. Thus, without stopping, Mu Testi. The emperor was very calm about Mu Yinfeng's arrival. He seemed to have expected that Mu Yinfeng would come looking for him. And when Mu Yinfeng mentioned Zhao Yun'er, the emperor didn't show much surprise. "Your Majesty, this subject really has no other choice, so I came to beg you. As long as you can help this subject find Yun'er, this subject will definitely do my best to serve your Majesty until my death." Mu Yinfeng knelt in front of the emperor and said sincerely and loyally. The emperor had Mu Yinfeng get up and jokingly teased, "Could it be that before my beloved subject begged me, you didn't want to serve me until your death?" Mu Yinfeng realized that he had said something wrong and hurriedly said, No, your Majesty, this subject didn't mean that." "Then what does my beloved subject mean? You're obviously using your loyalty as a bargaining chip to negotiate with me. Does this mean that you didn't want to do this to me before?" Chapter 1491. It was said that accompanying the emperor was like accompanying a tiger. One had no choice but to accept the emperor's glory. Mu Yinfeng felt that his back was drenched in sweat. He knew the emperor very well. On the surface, the emperor seemed to value him a lot. However, that was not the case. The emperor always doubted the loyalty of the people he used. Now, he doubted him as well. His words were merely a warning to Yi Qingyu. "Your Majesty, this subject has always been loyal and devoted to you." Mu Yinfeng prostrated himself in front of the emperor, looking very pious. The emperor glanced at Mu Yinfeng and the corners of his mouth turned up. There was a meaningful meaning in his smile. He did not continue to say anything about Mu Yinfeng. Instead, he said faintly, "Mu Aiqing, why are you so nervous?" Jin was just casually asking. "Look at how nervous you are." Mu Yinfeng wiped the beads of sweat on his forehead. He knew very well that the emperor was not joking with him. The emperor was just deliberately saying that. "Your Majesty, this kind of joke cannot be made. This subject has always been loyal and devoted to you. This was true in the past and will be true in the future." The emperor waved his hand and said, Forget it. You mentioned Miss Yun'er just now. Jin will send some people to help you find Miss Yun'er." Mu Yinfeng said gratefully, "Thank you, Your Majesty." Seeing how agitated Mu Yinfeng was, the smile on the emperor's face became even more meaningful. No one could guess what he was thinking in his heart. After Mu Yinfeng received his men, he continued to immerse himself in the search for Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er continued to stay in the minister's estate for a few more days, but she still could not find a chance to leave. She did not know if the minister had realized that she was hiding in the minister's estate and did not relax for a moment. Zhao Yun'er felt a little hopeless. If it was like this in the future, then she would never have a chance to sneak out. She could not just sit and wait for death and stay in the minister's estate forever. Mu Yinfeng must have been worried out of his mind for the past few days. On the new day, Zhao Yun'er couldn't wait any longer. She wandered around the courtyard, climbed up a tree, and looked at the overall layout of the minister's mansion. Unfortunately, the minister's mansion was too big and complicated. It was hard to tell which direction was which. How could it be so easy to escape? Zhao Yun'er came down from the tree and returned to the house in disappointment. Seeing Zhao Yun'er like this, Chu Sun sighed slightly, but there was nothing he could do to help Zhao Yun'er. He himself was living in the minister's mansion and had never left. Naturally, he couldn't send Zhao Yun'er out. It would be fine if he could find some connections, but he couldn't find any. Just as Zhao Yun'er returned like a deflated balloon and was about to sit down, she suddenly heard the sound of a zither. The sound of the zither was strangely familiar. Zhao Yun'er immediately became excited. Wasn't this the emperor's zither music? If she didn't hear it wrong. Seeing Zhao Yun'er suddenly become excited, Chu Sun asked, "What's wrong? What's next door to your courtyard?" "The back garden of the minister's mansion." "Oh, in that case, it was not impossible for the emperor to come." However, Zhao Yun'er was not sure. She wanted to take a look first. Walking out of Chu Sun's small shabby house, she climbed up the wall and saw the scenery in the shabby garden. At this time, she saw a man wearing bright yellow clothes sitting in a pavilion, playing the zither with his eyes closed. This man's figure and appearance matched the person in Zhao Yun'er's memory. Chapter 1492. Zhao Yun'er was a little excited. Meeting the emperor meant that she had met an acquaintance. It would be great if the emperor could help her bring her out. Just as Zhao Yun'er was about to climb over the wall to greet the emperor, she suddenly saw a person wearing an official's robe walking towards the emperor. The emperor instantly withdrew his hand, and the zither music stopped. The emperor faintly asked, "How is it? Have you found her yet?" "Your Majesty, this subject hasn't found her yet. There's still no news." The person wearing the official's robe lowered his head and nervously replied. Zhao Yun'er guessed that the person wearing the official's robe should be Minister Shangshu. But what did the emperor and Minister Shangshu mean by this? Have they found her yet? Was this person referring to her? The emperor's expression immediately turned cold. "You haven't found her yet? Lin Shangshu, your ability to do things is truly extraordinary. You can't even keep an eye on a woman. Tell me, how can Zhen be at ease if Zhen hands over state affairs to you?" When Lin Shangshu heard this, he was so frightened that he quickly knelt in front of the emperor and lowered his head to admit his mistake. "Your Majesty, it's this subject's negligence. I didn't expect that woman to be so cunning. This subject will definitely find her as soon as possible." The emperor lightly snorted. "Zhen already told you not to lower your guard. It seems that you didn't take Zhen's words to heart. Your Majesty, this subject..." "Enough, it's useless to explain anything to Zhen now. Now that the heir has found the capital, if you find her before he does, Zhen's plan will fail and Zhen will hold you responsible." Lin Shangshu was so shocked that a layer of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. He quickly knelt down and agreed. Yes. I will do my best to find her and bring her back." Hearing the two people's words, Zhao Yun'er was shocked. She originally thought that Lin Shangshu had brought her back to do something. She didn't expect that the mastermind behind this was actually the emperor. But why did the emperor do this? What did he want to do? It was said that the emperor's heart was hard to fathom. Zhao Yun'er couldn't figure it out. If the emperor wanted to make a move on her, how could Mu Lianfeng resist? She was glad that she didn't leave the minister's manor. Otherwise, with the emperor's ability, as long as she was in the capital, he would definitely find her. It was not safe anywhere. Instead, the minister's mansion had become the safest place. When Zhao Yun'er thought of this, she felt a burst of fear in her heart. She had always lived a simple life. Even if there were some weirdos in the village, she didn't have to use much scheming to fight with them. But the emperor was different. He was too dangerous. If they provoked him in the slightest, they probably wouldn't live to see the next day. Right now, she was unarmed and defenseless. Mu Lianfeng was also an official. What could she use to fight against the emperor? When Zhao Yun'er was about to leave, she saw that the emperor seemed to have thought of something. He said to Lin Shangshu, "Since he hasn't found anyone for the time being, it's better to follow the previous plan. Lin Shangshu, go and inform Shitzi Mu that his wife is in your hands. If he wants to ransom her, he has to work for the prime minister in the future. He has to be loyal." Lin Shangshu nodded in response. "Yes, this official will do it right away." The emperor nodded faintly. When Zhao Yun'er heard the emperor's words, she felt that there was more information. Chapter 1493. But now that the emperor had said these words, how could it be that he wanted Mu Lianfeng to work for the prime minister? Zhao Yun'er pondered for a moment and finally understood. She had been caught by Lin Shangshu and had Lin Shangshu send a message to Mu Lianfeng. He was just using her as a bargaining chip to threaten Mu Lianfeng. Rather than a threat, it was more accurate to say that he was testing him. If Zhao Yun didn't guess wrong, once Mu Lianfeng agreed to work for the prime minister, the emperor would think that Mu Lianfeng was unreliable and not loyal to him wholeheartedly. Last time, the emperor had already suspected Mu Lianfeng. She didn't expect that he would be even more ruthless this time and directly test him like this. It was said that accompanying the emperor was like accompanying a tiger. The emperor's thoughts were indeed terrifying and unfathomable. Ordinary people like them really couldn't win against him. Zhao Yun was now worried that Mu Lianfeng cared too much about her. If he agreed to work for the prime minister with Lin Shangshu, he would fall into a trap. She reckoned that the emperor wouldn't easily forgive Mu Lianfeng at that time. The ancient emperors probably wouldn't let those who betrayed them live. When she thought that this matter was related to Mu Lianfeng's life, Zhao Yun was so nervous that her heart almost jumped out of her chest. She was currently in the minister's fu. How could she spread this matter and talk to Mu Lianfeng? What should she do? Zhao Yun flipped down from the wall and returned to Chu Sun's room with a worried expression. When Chu Sun saw that Zhao Yun had returned, he asked Zhao Yun, "What did you see in the flower garden after you went in? Why is your expression so ugly?" Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. "No, nothing. I was just a bit shaken because I was almost discovered." Seeing Zhao Yun's soulless appearance, Chu Sun said, "If there's anything I can help with, you can tell me. Although I can't help you escape from the minister's fu, I can help you pass a letter or something." Hearing Chu Sun's words, Zhao Yun's eyes instantly lit up. She asked excitedly, "Really?" Chu Sun nodded. Although he wasn't too willing to go out and didn't like the outside world, he saw Zhao Yun's face was filled with worry. If he could help, he would do his best to help. "Thank you so much." Zhao Yun hurriedly took out a letter and wrote a letter. She explained her general situation and the emperor's plan, and then handed it to Chu Sun. Although she didn't know whether Chu Sun was reliable or not, she could only place all her hopes on Chu Sun at the moment. On the cover, it was written for Mu Sijuan. Mu Sijuan was just a code name. Mu Lianfeng had told her before that his Mu Rong family's businesses were in the capital, as well as his trusted subordinates. His people were in the Renla Medical Center in the capital. If someone contacted him, he would use a code name to prevent it from being exposed. That code name was Mu Sijuan. If someone mentioned Mu Sijuan, the people in the medical center would know that there was a message to be passed to Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun handed the letter to Chu Sun and then gave him some instructions. She was worried that Chu Sun, who usually didn't go out, would be able to find the exact location. Fortunately, the Renla Medical Center was relatively large. Chu Sun should be able to find the address if he went out and asked on the street. After Zhao Yun finished giving instructions, she saw Chu Sun leave. She kept feeling uneasy, not knowing if Chu Sun could handle this matter well. Chapter 1494. Not long after, Mu Lianfeng received two letters. One was from Lin Shangshu, and the other was from Zhao Yun. First, when he saw Lin Shangshu's letter, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly prepared to go to the minister's manor. Fortunately, Zhao Yun's letter came in time, so Mu Lianfeng knew the situation. He just happened to recognize Zhao Yun's handwriting, otherwise he would have some doubts about which one was real and which one was fake. In addition, the Renla Medical Hall was something that Mu Lianfeng had personally told Zhao Yun before. He never thought that Zhao Yun would use it this time. After reading these two letters, Mu Lianfeng knew what he should do. He would go to the minister's manor, but it would be a different play. Mu Lianfeng prepared and directly rushed to the minister's manor. When he arrived at Lin Shangshu's manor, Lin Shangshu personally came out to greet him. "Heir apparent, how is it?" I don't know if heir apparent agrees to the conditions proposed by this lowly official. Mu Lianfeng righteously reprimanded Lin Shangshu. "Lin Shangshu, you work for the emperor. How can you turn to the prime minister? This kind of betrayal of the emperor. How can you do it?" Lin Shangshu smiled. "Heir apparent, it is said that a real person is an outstanding person. Our Zhou country situation, with your ability and vision, you should be clear about it. Our emperor doesn't have much power in his hands. Most of the official matters have to be arranged by the prime minister. This lowly official defecting to the prime minister is just to adapt to the situation and make the most beneficial arrangements. Mu Yinfeng coldly snorted. Since you are an official, the Dezhou country also has a ruler. When is it up to the prime minister to make the decision and go against the emperor? Lin Shangshu, you betrayed the emperor. This is disloyalty. Lin Shangshu smiled and said, Lord Heir, what's there to be loyal to? The most important thing is who you follow and who you can get the most benefits from. If you don't agree to work for the prime minister now, then you will be opposing the prime minister. If anything happens in the future, don't blame this official for not warning you, and don't blame the prime minister for not giving you a chance. Mu Yinfeng continued to reprimand. Master Lin, if you want benefits, you can do it yourself. I will never betray His Majesty and associate myself with you people. All right, Your Highness, since you don't agree, then the princess consort. What do you want to do to her? Kill her. You dare. Why wouldn't I? No. Haha. Shitsi. Unless you can switch sides with the prime minister, you won't be able to keep Shitsi Fei's life. This lowly official will give you a chance to consider. If you agree to this lowly official's conditions, this lowly official will immediately release her. I will definitely not harm a single hair on her head. Mu Yinfeng furrowed his brows, as if he was thinking. In the end, he gave up on Zhao Yuner. Lin Shangshu, since I've decided to be loyal to His Majesty, I will never betray him in this lifetime. Even if I have to take this life of mine, I won't be a disloyal person like you, turning around and laughing at the youth. This time, I can only let my madam down. Mu Yinfeng seemed to be saying this to himself. Right at this moment, a person walked out from behind the screen in Lin Shangshu's residence. Wearing a bright yellow robe, he clapped his hands and praised. Good, good, good. Mu Aiqing, you really didn't disappoint us. Mu Yinfeng revealed a shocked expression. Your Majesty, the emperor smiled and said, is Mu Aiqing asking why we are here? Chapter 1495. We only used Miss Yuner to test Mu Aiqing. Now, we can be certain that Mu Aiqing is truly loyal to us. Mu Aiqing, you won't be angry that we tested you like this, right? We only want to make sure that the important person by our side is loyal to us. Mu Yinfeng was indeed very unhappy in his heart. He was already so loyal, but the emperor still wanted to make him do these meaningless tests. In the end, it was because the emperor didn't trust him. Although it was normal for the monarch to be suspicious, since he was using people, he should not doubt them. What was the meaning of using Zhao Yuner to test him like this? What if he didn't have Zhao Yuner's warning and got caught by the emperor? Would his head be separated from his body by now? Just thinking about it made Mu Yinfeng's back break out in cold sweat. His life was saved by Zhao Yuner. Faced with the emperor's questioning, Mu Yinfeng naturally didn't dare to say anything. The corners of his mouth twitched as he replied, How could that be? Your Majesty can do anything. This subject will do my duty well. In the future, Your Majesty can rest assured that this subject will be loyal to Your Majesty. The emperor patted Mu Yinfeng's shoulder and said, That's right. It's rare to find someone as loyal to us. Don't worry, Mu Aiqing. We will put you in an important position. Mu Yinfeng replied, Thank you, Your Majesty. However, Your Majesty, is Yuner really in Lin Shangshu's hands? If she is, will he be able to release Yuner? Miss Yuner isn't here, but Mu Aiqing, don't worry. We will send more people to find Miss Yuner. We guarantee that Miss Yuner will be handed over to you in perfect condition. Mu Yinfeng was unhappy, but he still thanked the emperor. At this moment, a servant from Lin Shangshu's residence came over to report, Darren, we found her. This person was naturally Zhao Yuner. However, it was not because Zhao Yuner was careless, but because Zhao Yuner did it on purpose. Zhao Yuner had already expected that Mu Yinfeng and Lin Shangshu should have finished their act by now. She asked someone to find her and go back with Mu Yinfeng. Lin Shangshu and the emperor looked at each other. The emperor smiled and said to Mu Yinfeng, Mu Aiqing, this is just in time. Yuner has been found. You can take Yuner back. The minister's servant brought Zhao Yuner to Mu Yinfeng. Zhao Yuner also pretended to be surprised as she looked at Mu Lianfeng and the emperor. Without waiting for Zhao Yuner to say anything, the emperor said, "This time, Zheng will make it up to Miss Yuner." "That's right, Mu Aiqing, the marriage between you and Miss Yuner that you mentioned last time." Zhen has also agreed. Later, Zhen will issue an imperial edict to bestow a marriage between the two of you. Since he knew that Mu Yinfeng was one of his people and was so loyal to him, the emperor felt that if such an amazing woman like Zhao Yuner were to marry Mu Yinfeng, it could be considered as him using her. Previously, he had delayed the marriage without agreeing to it, so there was no need to delay it this time. Hearing the emperor's words, Mu Yinfeng's dissatisfaction immediately dissipated. As long as the emperor could bestow a marriage between him and Zhao Yuner, then everything would be worth it. This subject thanks the emperor. Mu Yinfeng excitedly knelt down. Zhao Yuner also knelt down and received the imperial edict to thank the emperor. "Thank you, emperor." All right, the two of you can get up. These days, Miss Yuner has been wronged. Mu Aiqing, take her back and have a good rest. Chapter 1496. After Mu Yinfeng left, the emperor said to Lin Shangshu, "Lin Shangshu, you really know how to do things. She was in your residence, but you didn't find her." Lin Shangshu was a little embarrassed. He bowed his head and admitted his mistake. "Your Majesty, it's all this official's fault. This official is incompetent." The emperor waved his hand and replied, all right, don't say these things to Zhen. Since the goal has been achieved, I really don't want to pursue it any further." "Thank you, Your Majesty." The reason why the emperor let Lin Shangshu off so easily was not because he really felt that Lin Shangshu was incompetent, but because he knew that Zhao Yuner was different from the rest. Zhao Yun was too scary. The things she did were also unimaginable. Since she could hide in the minister's residence for so long, it was already something that many people couldn't do. Fortunately, this woman would not stand on the opposite side of him in the future. Instead, she could help him. Thinking of this, the corners of the emperor's mouth revealed a rare smile. On the way back, Mu Yinfeng held Zhao Yun tightly in his arms in the carriage. He was afraid that if he let go, Zhao Yuner would leave him again. Mu Yinfeng's voice became a little hoarse. He whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear, "Yuner, do you know? I was so worried about you. I really thought that something had happened to you. If you weren't here, what would I do?" Zhao Yun touched Mu Yinfeng's face. Not only did this guy lose a lot of weight, but he also didn't tidy himself up. His beard had grown a lot, and it was a little prickly when she touched it. "Don't worry, I'll be fine. No matter what, I won't let anything happen to me. I still have to take care of you and Daodu." Mu Yinfeng said in a low voice. The feeling of hugging Zhao Yun again was like regaining a lost treasure. It was hard for him to imagine if he didn't have Zhao Yun in the future. Would he have to muddle through his days? Zhao Yun muttered, "But Mu Yinfeng, even if something happens to me, nothing can happen to you. Daodu still needs someone to take care of him, and so does Tian. All right, Yin'er, I'll remember what you said. But for now on, I won't let you be like today." Yeah. The two of them hugged each other. It felt good to be able to relax after such a thrilling experience. The moments she spent with Mu Yinfeng were very real. Her heart, which had been on tenterhooks, finally calmed down. The two of them returned to Mu Yinfeng's residence in the capital. Originally, Mu Yinfeng had planned to bring Zhao Yun to the capital for a few days so that Zhao Yun could see the bustle of the capital and play around with her. However, the two of them considered that there were still many people in Shui Lan village who were worried about their situation. In addition, Zhao Yun couldn't let go of Daodu and Tian. How could she be in the mood to play around in the capital? The bustle of the capital had nothing to do with her for the time being. Even if she wanted to play, she would have to find an opportunity in the future to bring Daodu and Tian along as a family. That night, the two of them rested in the capital for a night. The next day, they drove the carriage to Shui Lan village. When they returned to the village, it was already evening. Zhao Yun went straight to Mulan's house. After leaving Dowdu and Tian with Mulan, Zhao Yun knew that Mulan would take good care of these two children. Chapter 1497. As soon as he saw that Zhao Yun had returned, Dowdu immediately ran out of Mulan's house and rushed into Zhao Yun's arms. Mother, Dowdu's voice was a little choked as he called out to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun could hear that Dowdu's voice was a little hoarse. Although Dowdu was still young, a 3-year-old child would understand some things. Especially when she suddenly disappeared. Dowdu must have been very worried during this period. Zhao Yun squatted down and hugged Dowdu as well. She said to Dowdu, "All right, Dowdu, Mother is back. Don't be afraid." "Uh-huh." Dowdu responded in a soft voice, but he hugged Zhao Yun tightly, as if he couldn't bear to let go. Zhao Yun knew that this child was probably afraid that she would disappear again if he let go. For now, she could only let Dowdu hug her. When Dowdu had hugged her enough, he would naturally let go. Mu Yinfeng followed behind Zhao Yun and said to Dowdu with a little jealousy, "Dowdu, you only think about Mother. Don't you think about Father these days?" Only then did Dodo raise her head to look at Mu Yinfeng. The corner of her mouth revealed a shy smile. She quickly left Zhao Yun's embrace and ran into Mu Yinfeng's embrace. "Father," Dowdu's sweet voice made Mu Yinfeng's heart melt. Mu Yinfeng immediately lifted Dowdu over his head and spun him around, then hugged Dowdu in his arms. Mu Yinfeng was tall and big, so Dowdu became a little toy in Mu Yinfeng's arms. Mulan followed them out. When she saw Zhao Yun, she said excitedly, "Yun, you're finally back safe and sound. I've been waiting for you for the past few days, and I was worried to death." Zhao Yun smiled and replied, "I'm fine, sister-in-law Mulan. I've made you worry." "Ah, it's good that you're back. With the heir here, I knew he wouldn't let anything happen to you. I was just afraid that something would happen and make me worry." Zhao Yun nodded in response. She could understand how Mulan felt. However, since Mulan was worried about her, it meant that Mulan still valued her as a friend. Zhao Yun was very touched. "You must be tired from driving the carriage. Hurry inside and have a drink." Mulan greeted Zhao Yun and Mu Yinfeng. "Okay, all right, sister-in-law Mulan, where's Tian? How's Tian? Did Tian cause trouble for you these past few days?" Mulan smiled and replied, "That girl is very obedient. She's sleeping on the bed right now and has just been breastfed. This child hasn't caused any trouble these past few days. She's very obedient and sleeps after eating her fill. When she pees or poops, she even knows how to cry a little. She hasn't peed on the bed. That's good." She was afraid that Mulan would be very busy every day and would have to take care of a child. It would be very tiring. Now that she heard Mulan say this, Tian was very sensible, so it shouldn't be too tiring to take care of her. Thinking about it, this child was really obedient and pleasant. Ordinary families wouldn't be able to find someone like her. It was a pity that her cousin and her in-laws despised her for being a daughter and didn't care. She let Tian stay by her side, which was a bargain for her. When Zhao Yun arrived at Mulan's house, she heard Mulan calling out, "Ah, Yun, come and see. Tian is awake." She said that she was asleep just now, but she woke up the moment you came back. This girl probably knows that you're back today. Chapter 1498. The toddler was lying down with his clothes on. His small body was pink and tender. Tian had grown a little in the past few days, and his skin was no longer wrinkled like when he was just born. Perhaps it was because he was well-nourished and drank goat's milk every day. His entire little face was rosy and chubby, and he looked even cuter. Tian seemed to have seen Zhao Yun as well. His eyes moved, and then he stared at Zhao Yun. The corners of his mouth cracked open, and he smiled at Zhao Yun. Tian's smile melted Zhao Yun's heart. The toddler's smile was too healing. Tian can actually recognize people. Zhao Yun was a little surprised. After all, he was just born. How could he have memory? How could he remember people? Of course he remembers. Otherwise, why would he smile at you? Mulan said from the side. Zhao Yun sighed. This child is too smart. Yes, Tian has always been smart. Mulan was not stingy with her praise. She had taken care of Tian these past few days, and she had a deep understanding of how obedient and smart Tian was. Haha, Zhao Yun could not help but pick up the toddler. She was greeted by a milky fragrance with a hint of sweetness. Daodu's little mouth also moved closer to Zhao Yun's face. He kissed Zhao Yun's face. Seeing Tian's action, Zhao Yun's heart melted again. She had never seen a toddler cuter than Tian. They did not stay at Mulan's house for long. Zhao Yun took Tian and Mu Lianfeng back home. When they heard that Zhao Yun was back, the third branch's family all came over to take a look. Their originally worried hearts were finally at ease. In the afternoon, Zhao Yun picked some mint, put it in the pot, and boiled it with hot water. Then she poured the boiled mint water into the bathtub and bathed Tian. Perhaps it was because the weather had gotten hotter these days, but Tian had been suffering from heat rashes. If it wasn't resolved soon, the child would probably feel very uncomfortable. Zhao Yun's wooden basin was not big enough for Tian to sit in. However, bathing a baby was not an easy task. Zhao Yun could not do it alone. Therefore, she pulled Mu Lianfeng along. Mu Lianfeng helped Tian with his big hands, while Zhao Yun took a small cloth and carefully wiped Tian's body. Perhaps it was the child's nature to play with water, but as soon as she sat in the basin, Tian's legs bounced up and down. For a moment, the water in the wooden basin splashed onto Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng's faces. Zhao Yun warned Tian. All right, Tian, stop. If you're playing with water like this, your father and I will be soaked by you. However, Tian did not pay attention to Zhao Yun. Her legs bounced even more happily. Zhao Yun's clothes were not only stained with water, but even her hair was soaked. This child, when she was well-behaved, she was very well-behaved, but when she was mischievous, she was not bad. Zhao Yun had no choice but to say, all right, Tian, mother is begging you. If you go on like this, then I can't bathe you. When you get heat rashes and feel uncomfortable, that's your problem. I won't care about you anymore. Mu Lianfeng listened to Zhao Yun's words and chuckled. Yun, the child is so young, she still doesn't understand people's words. Chapter 1499. Mu Lianfeng didn't refute Zhao Yun and just smiled without saying anything. However, after Tian was warned by Zhao Yun, she became well-behaved and no longer made a fuss. Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng smoothly bathed Tian together. After the baby was bathed, her body was stained with the fresh smell of mint, which made people feel refreshed. In this hot summer, mint was indeed a good thing. It was cooling, relieving the heat, and also dispelling the heat. Later, they could mix some mint and syrup together and boil it. The taste should be pretty good. After bathing Tian, she put on her clothes and carried her to the bed. Daodu was playing outside the house, leaning against the corner and playing with the soil. Zhao Yun called out, Daodu, it's hot outside. Why did you run out to play? Daodu explained in a soft voice. Mother, little sister is bathing. Daodu can't stay in the house. Zhao Yun's man didn't expect Daodu to say such a thing. Then she heard Daodu continue. Mother, father, and Daodu said that men and women shouldn't touch each other, so Daodu can't watch little sister bathe. Since Daodu said it so seriously, it coincided with Mu Lianfeng's words. After a while, Zhao Yun laughed at Daodu's. Daodu looked at Zhao Yun with a puzzled expression. Mother, what are you laughing at? Could it be that Daodu said something wrong? Zhao Yun was now worried that if the child was handed over to Mu Lianfeng, would Mu Lianfeng lead the child astray? He really didn't teach the things that should be taught, but taught the things that shouldn't be taught. Daodu was only 3 years old. How would he know what it meant to keep his distance? Now, even Daodu had to avoid looking at a baby bathing. If word got out, it would probably cause others to burst into laughter. Seeing Zhao Yun laughing, Daodu asked with a puzzled expression, Mother, what are you laughing at? Is Daodu wrong? Zhao Yun shook her head. Of course not. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. We'll talk about it when Dowdu grows up. Right now, Dowdu and little sister are still children, and you two are siblings, so there's no need to avoid these things for the time being. Dowdu frowned as if he didn't understand. He looked at Mu Lianfeng and asked Mu Lianfeng, "Father, is it like what mother said?" Mu Lianfeng nodded. "Yes, that's what your mother said." "Oh, then the next time little sister baths, Dowdu doesn't have to go out anymore." "Yes, it's hot outside." "Then, can Dowdu bathe with little sister in the future?" Dowdu asked expectantly. "Not now. Little sister is still too young. It's not good to hurt her. When little sister is a little older, Dowdu can bathe with her." Dowdu thought for a moment, then replied solemnly, "Understood, mother. Then Dowdu will wait for little sister to grow up." Okay. Zhao Yun'er gave Dowdu a bath while she was at it. The two children were bathed until they smelled good and went to bed. Just as she was done, she heard a commotion outside the house. Yun'er girl. It was Feng Zhangxia's voice. This aunt of hers came to her house so eagerly. She was probably up to no good. Before Zhao Yun'er could leave the house, Feng Zhangxia came in by herself. Chapter 1500. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Feng Zhangxia indifferently. She trusted Feng Zhangxia because she was worried that she wouldn't be able to sleep well these few days. She clearly had a rosy complexion and was living better than anyone else. Wasn't she afraid of embarrassing herself by saying such things? "I've made Annie worry, but there's no need for you to worry. I'm sure nothing will happen to me." Feng Zhangxia smiled embarrassedly. "That's right, girl. Heaven helps the worthy. How could anything happen to you?" "Annie, did you come just to see me?" Zhao Yun'er asked. She felt that it wouldn't be so simple. With Feng Zhangxia's character, if she took the initiative to look for her, it would usually be to trouble her or something. Seeing Zhao Yun'er ask this, Feng Zhangxia casually said, "Actually, Annie mainly came to see you. Also, there's something I need to trouble you with," Zhao Yun'er sneered. She felt that Feng Zhangxia's words were really fake. She obviously came to trouble her. To put it nicely, she came to see her in passing. To put it bluntly, she didn't care about her at all. She just came to ask for help. "Annie, why do you have so many things?" "I don't think I can help. I just came back and I'm very tired. I need to rest well. I don't have the time and energy to do other things." Feng Zhangxia hurriedly waved her hand and said, No. Yun'er girl, you can definitely help me with this. I don't need you to do anything. Just lend your family's Xiao Mao to my family." Feng Zhangxia said it very lightly, as if nothing had happened. Zhao Yun was a little unhappy. She lent Xiao Mao to Feng Zhangxia previously because of her second cousin. But now, Feng Zhangxia obviously took this kind of help for granted. It was indeed scary when a habit was formed. She reckoned that if she agreed this time, Feng Zhangxia would come to her again if she had any problems. Going backwards once or twice and coming back to find him again and again, it was really annoying. Zhao Yun'er mocked, "Auntie, it's easy for you to say. Just lend my family Xiao Mao. How can my family's Xiao Mao be lent out so casually? What if everyone came to borrow it? If you really want to borrow it, it's not impossible. You can rent it for a day and pay 20 copper coins. It's even cheaper than chartering your own ox cart." Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was asking for money, Feng Zhangxia couldn't bear to part with it. She pursed her lips and continued, "Yun'er girl, I don't borrow money often, do I? We're a family. It's just borrowing a donkey. There's no harm in helping. Tomorrow, your second cousin brother will go to the girl's house to pick her up. Their whole family had to come over, and it was inconvenient for each donkey to pick them up. If they walked, they would have to walk a long way. As men, we have to arrange these things well. We can't let the woman think that we're unkind. It's not easy for your second cousin to find a wife." Hearing Feng Zhangxia's words, Zhao Yun'er thought that since it was because of Zhao Tianhu's matter, there was no harm in helping. But she also felt that if she gave in again, Feng Zhangxia would get used to it. This wouldn't be good for the future. After thinking about it, Zhao Yun'er said, "Auntie, that's your business. If you can't do it, you can rent an ox cart. If you want my family's donkey, bring 20 copper coins over." Seeing that Zhao Yun'er's attitude was very unyielding and there was no room for discussion, Feng Zhangxia knew that it was useless to say anything. Chapter 1501. Feng Zhangxia thought for a moment, then gritted her teeth and replied, Okay. 20 copper coins, okay? This girl was really stingy. She was already so rich, yet she was still calculating that 20 copper coins. With the heir around, how much money could she have? However, even though Feng Zhangxia was complaining in her heart, she couldn't possibly argue with Zhao Yun. That's fine. Eldest aunt, give me the money then. Feng Zhangxia gritted her teeth, took out 20 copper coins from her pocket, and handed it to Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun counted it and confirmed it before letting Feng Zhangxia leave. Mu Yinfeng looked at Zhao Yun and couldn't help but want to laugh. His Yin didn't even let others take advantage of her. With such a wife around, it would definitely be good if he handed his money to Zhao Yun for safekeeping in the future. After Zhao Yun busied herself for a while, she started to prepare dinner. These few days, Daodu had been eating behind Mulan, so he probably wasn't used to the food. After all, Daodu was used to eating his own food. Although Mulan's cooking wasn't bad, it was far inferior to hers. Even Little Black was the same. Although Little Black had grown a little in the past few days, he had lost a lot of weight. Zhao Yun decided to cook a few more dishes tonight, together with Little Black, to nourish him. The other thing was Little Mao. Little Mao ate grass, so it didn't matter if Zhao Yun was at home or not. However, when it saw Zhao Yun return, Little Mao recognized her. When it saw Zhao Yun, it let out an excited cry. Zhao Yun plucked some grass and brought it to Xiao Mao's mouth to feed Xiao Mao. As Little Mao ate, it even rubbed against Zhao Yun, causing Zhao Yun to burst out laughing. Sometimes, animals really had human feelings. After being away for a long time, they would miss it. Little Mao probably felt the same way about her. After not seeing her for a few days, Little Mao seemed to have a premonition. Now that she was back, she was so excited to pester her. Zhao Yun rubbed Xiao Mao's head and said to Xiao Mao, Little guy, I haven't been back for a few days. Look at you, you've grown a lot stronger. Xiao Mao made a series of woo-woo-woo sounds. Zhao Yun naturally couldn't understand, but the smile on her lips deepened. It's delicious. I'll pick more grass for you later. By the way, I'll roast some meat tonight. I'll get some for you, Zhao Yun said. When Xiao Mao heard this, it excitedly let out a series of woo-woo-woo sounds. When Zhao Yun finished eating and was about to leave, there were many mosquitoes flying around in the wooden shed. As the evening approached, the number of mosquitoes increased. It was probably because summer had arrived, and there were many trees and grass in the ancient countryside. It was easy for mosquitoes to breed. That was why there were so many mosquitoes. Although Xiao Mao was an animal, being bitten by mosquitoes was still very uncomfortable. Zhao Yun wondered if it was time to get rid of the mosquitoes for Xiao Mao. That way, Xiao Mao would be more comfortable in the wooden shed. Just as Zhao Yun was thinking, Daodu said to Zhao Yun, Mother, Little Black is back. Zhao Yun looked in Daodu's direction and saw that Little Black was indeed back. And when he came back, there was something in his mouth. Walking over to take a look, Zhao Yun realized that it was a wild rabbit. Zhao Pinger's eyes instantly lit up. Little Black actually brought back a wild rabbit. That was really amazing. It was just a little black dog. Could it be that it learned how to hunt like a wolf? That was really awesome. The rabbit that Little Black brought back had its neck bitten open. It was a dead rabbit. Daodu said excitedly, Mother, look at how amazing Little Black is. He brought back a rabbit. Chapter 1502. Now, that Little Black brought this hare back. It meant that he could eat rabbit meat tonight. Zhao Yun nodded, yes. Little Black is really awesome. With that, Zhao Yun patted Little Black's head and praised Little Black. Little Black is really awesome. You have the potential to be a hunting dog. Hearing Zhao Yun's praise, Little Black wagged his tail, stuck out his tongue, and licked Zhao Yun's hand. When it's ready tonight, I'll let you eat it. Zhao Yun smiled. Woof, 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 Little Black barked. She couldn't understand dog language, but Zhao Yuner knew that Little Black was excitedly agreeing. Dowdu said in a soft voice, "Mother, you don't know, but Little Black often ran up the mountain recently. After you left and went to Aunt Mulan's house, Aunt Mulan gave Little Black something to eat, but Little Black didn't eat. I was wondering why he wasn't hungry, so he went up the mountain to find something to eat." After hearing Dowdu's words, Zhao Yuna knew that Little Black went up the mountain these days. Little Black was also an awesome dog. After she left, he didn't have anything to eat, but he didn't eat feces, but hunted by himself. If it was an ordinary dog, he would probably guard the feces pit. Zhao Yun'er looked at Little Black and was very satisfied, thinking that she taught him well. Other dogs ate feces every day, their mouths were dirty, but she didn't let Little Black eat, so Little Black never ate. Otherwise, she would probably dislike it to death, because she really couldn't stand the dog licking her after eating feces. Zhao Yun'er patted Little Black's head and continued to praise. "Little Black is so obedient." Little Black's tail wagged even more happily. Zhao Yun'er then peeled the rabbit skin, washed it, and went to the kitchen to prepare wine-flavored rabbit meat. He directly put the white wine and the rabbit meat together. The rabbit meat would be stained with the fragrance of the white wine, without the fishy smell. Moreover, it was a little spicy, which was very tasty. After the family had a good meal, they went to bed. Over the past few days, in addition to the heat in the house that made people unable to sleep at night, what was more important was the mosquitoes that wandered around the house and buzzed in their ears, making it impossible for them to sleep. Zhao Yun'er frowned in annoyance and turned over. If he covered himself with the blanket, he would sweat profusely. If he didn't cover himself with the blanket, he would be bitten by mosquitoes. It was unbearably itchy. No matter how much he tossed around, it was uncomfortable. After lying in bed for 2 hours, Zhao Yun'er still couldn't fall asleep. She sat up in annoyance. What should he do? It was fine if he didn't have the air conditioner and electric fan, but he also didn't have things like mosquito repellents. He could only let the mosquitoes bite him. Chapter 1503. At this time, the mosquitoes began to bite Dowdu and Tiantian. The two babies fell asleep and couldn't fight back. Zhao Yun'er found that Dowdu and Tiantian had several big mosquito bites on their bodies. Especially Tiantian, newborn children were pink and tender, and their skin was more sensitive. After being bitten by a mosquito, the bitten area on her face became swollen, and it was heartbreaking to look at. She couldn't go on like this. She had to find something to drive the mosquitoes away. Zhao Yun remembered that when she was young, she lived in her grandfather's house in the countryside. Sometimes, when her grandfather's house ran out of mosquito-repellent incense, he would go to the ditch next to the paddy field to pick wild candles and bring them back. Then, he would use these wild candles to drive away mosquitoes. The effect of these wild candles was not worse than mosquito-repellent incense. Anyway, no mosquitoes would bite her when she slept in a room that was smoked. She thought that there were such wild candles in Shui Lan village, but she had never paid attention to them. She would go to the paddy field tomorrow and pick them back when she saw them. This way, she wouldn't be tired when she slept at night. "Yin'er, why don't you sleep first and cover yourself with a quilt? I'll fan you so that you won't feel hot. Just wait until you fall asleep," Mu Yinfeng said softly. Zhao Yun was embarrassed. She wanted to sleep, and Mu Yinfeng naturally wanted to sleep too. Zhao Yun felt bad that Mu Yinfeng couldn't sleep because of her. So she said, "It's okay. You'll be fine tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'll bring some wild candles back. There won't be so many mosquitoes. It's okay, you sleep first. I'll sleep after you fall asleep. I just slept. I'm not sleepy anyway." Good girl, go to sleep." Mu Yinfeng pressed Zhao Yun down on the bed and covered Zhao Yun with a quilt. Then, he fanned himself. A cool wind blew, and she suddenly felt much more refreshed. Probably because she was very sleepy, Zhao Yun'er fell asleep unknowingly. The next morning, Zhao Yun'er woke up, as did Dowdu and Tiantian. After feeding the baby, Zhao Yun'er went to the kitchen to make breakfast. When she came out, she found Mu Lianfeng washing things in a wooden basin. Zhao Yun'er walked over and saw that Mu Lianfeng was washing Tiantian's diaper. Seeing this scene, Zhao Yun'er's heart couldn't help but tremble. Mu Lianfeng, a grown man, actually knew how to wash diapers. For a man of this era, especially one of Mu Lianfeng's status, it was really rare. If he could, he really wanted to give Mu Lianfeng an award for being the best man in the world. Are you washing Tiantian's diaper? Yes. Wash it early and let it dry. Only then will Tian have diapers to change. Zhao Yun'er nodded. That was true. If he didn't wash it early, there were only so many diapers, and it wasn't enough. Seeing Zhao Yun'er smile, Mu Lianfeng asked, "What's wrong, Yun'er?" "Nothing, I just feel that you're a little different from the men of this era." Mu Lianfeng didn't understand. What's different? There are many different things. The best part is that you don't have male chauvinism. Even in the 21st century, it's probably hard to find a good man. Mu Lianfeng smiled helplessly. He really couldn't understand Zhao Yun'er's words, which were too modern. However, he guessed that Zhao Yun'er was praising him. After Mu Lianfeng washed the diapers in the wooden basin twice, he got up and went to dry them on the drying pole. Zhao Yun'er finished making breakfast and called Mu Lianfeng over to eat together. Chapter 1504. After eating breakfast and tidying up the house, it was already noon. In the morning, Zhao Yun'er's second cousin, Zhao Tianhu, came over to borrow little Mao and went to the girl's house. They estimated that they would arrive at Shui Lan village in a short while. Zhao Yun'er carried a basket on her back and called out to Dado, "Dado, do you want to go to the field with mother?" Dado nodded heavily. Okay. During this period of time, when Zhao Yun'er was not around, Dado played with Erhua and Sant. Now that Zhao Yun'er was back, he stuck to Zhao Yun'er. When he heard that Zhao Yun'er wanted to go out, Dado was naturally excited and hurriedly followed Zhao Yun'er out. Zhao Yun'er took Dado to the fields. It was the busy time of the farming season, and many people were tending to the rice in the fields. Rice needed to be irrigated and weeded often, so it was not easy to grow. However, China people, especially in the south, were used to eating rice. The yield of this kind of grain was also very good. Those who went out to work were all men. Only when there were not many men at home would the women come out to work. During the day, the weather was not very hot, so many people went out to work. If they waited until noon and afternoon, the sun would shine for a while, the temperature would rise a lot, and it would be very hot when they worked again. Zhao Yun'er went to a few fields, and she often saw people in the village. When she arrived at old Zhao's paddy field, she saw that the paddy fields of other houses were still fine. Only her second uncle's paddy field had a lot of grass growing. There was not much water in the paddy field, and the rice was somewhat yellow. It was estimated that they would not receive any grain during the harvest season. The reason why a few mu of paddy fields were abandoned was because her second uncle was too lazy. She guessed that he was lying in bed with the excuse that his butt hurt and did not work in the fields. Her second aunt was a woman, so she naturally did not know how to take care of the fields. She could not finish all the chores at home and still had to take care of Zhao Wenshui. How could she have the time to take care of the fields? If they continued to be lazy for a long time, Zhao Yun'er estimated that her second uncle's family would not be able to live a good life in the future. After all, it was other people's business. Zhao Yun wouldn't meddle in other people's business. Seeing that her second aunt was much better now, she would at most remind her later. If she could find a better home, she might as well dump Zhao Wenshui and divorce Zhao Wenshui. She wanted to see how Zhao Wenshui would live in the future. Zhao Yun'er took Dao to look for a while and finally found a place with a water candle. Dao, you stay on shore. Niangqin will go and pick it. Don't come, okay? Zhao Yun was afraid that Dao would not be safe if he fell, so she reminded him. Dao nodded heavily and said, Okay, Niangqin, Dao understands. Dao is good. Zhao Yun patted Dao's head and praised him. Then she put down the basket on her back and placed it on the ridge of the field. Then she took off her cloth shoes and socks, rolled up her trousers, and prepared to go into the water. If she did not go into the water, she would not be able to hook the water candle. At this time, a person's voice sounded behind Zhao Yun. Yun, let me help you. It was Lu Lei. Zhao Yun turned around. Sure enough, it was Lu Lei. Lu Lei was currently wearing a cloth garment. His trousers were rolled up. His legs, feet, and even his clothes were stained with mud. It was probably because he worked in the paddy field. Chapter 1505. The Xiao family was a wealthy family in the village, and they had many paddy fields. Before Xiao Hong married Lu Lei, the Xiao family hired people to do farm work during the busy farming season. Now that Lu Lei was here, he took the initiative to do it himself, saving the Xiao family a lot of money. However, working the paddy fields was not an easy task. After entering the paddy fields, it was easy to get dirty. Just like Lu Lei now, with a lot of mud on his body, he had to wash himself, every day. Zhao Yun smiled at Lu Lei. If it was in the past, Zhao Yun wouldn't reject Lu Lei's help. Now that Lu Lei and Xiao Hong were married, she had to avoid them, lest there were any unspeakable rumors. No need, Brother Lei. I'll do it myself. Zhao Yun refused. Lu Lei frowned and said, Yun, I'm already dirty. It's okay to go into the water. Look at how clean you are. If you go in, you'll dirty your clothes easily. You'll have to wash yourself when you get back. How troublesome. I'll just go in and help. It won't take much effort. It's fine. Zhao Yun knew that was indeed as Lu Lei said. If she went in alone, it would be more troublesome. But she couldn't trouble Lu Lei because of this. Just as Zhao Yun was about to continue to refuse, Lu Lei did not listen to Zhao Yun's words and went straight into the water. Zhao Yun wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Seeing Lu Lei being so enthusiastic, Zhao Yun couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed. This man had helped her too many times without asking for anything in return, but she couldn't give him anything in return. When Zhao Yun was slightly stunned, Lu Lei called out to Zhao Yun, Yun, do you want this wild candle? Zhao Yun nodded and said, Yes. What do you want this for? Lu Lei asked casually as he plucked it. I picked it to smoke the mosquitoes. There are too many mosquitoes in the house at night, and the bites are uncomfortable. This thing can also drive away mosquitoes. Lu Lei was a little puzzled. He actually didn't know. This was the first time he had heard of it. Zhao Yun nodded and said, Yes, take it back and dry it in the sun. Set it on fire and smoke in the house. It has a good mosquito repellent effect. After Lu Lei heard this, he muttered, Is that so? Then I'll bring some back too. There are quite a lot of mosquitoes in the house. Yeah. Lu Lei picked a lot from the ditch. After buying a handful, he handed it to Zhao Yun. In a short while, he had picked half a basket. Zhao Yun hurriedly said, All right, Brother Lei Zi, that's enough. You can come up. Lu Lei agreed. Just as he was about to get out of the ditch, a water snake slithered over and bit Lu Lei's thigh. Ouch! Lu Lei gasped in pain. Zhao Yun hurriedly asked, What's wrong, Brother Lei Zi? Lu Lei frowned in pain and climbed up to the shore. He didn't care much and said, It's nothing. It seems like I was bitten by a water snake. Zhao Yun glanced at Lu Lei's thigh and saw that Lu Lei's thigh was bitten by a water snake. At the moment, it was bleeding. She was shocked and hurriedly said, Brother Lei Zi, does it hurt? Why don't you call Dr. Sun over and let him get some medicine for you? Lu Lei waved his hand and said, It's okay, Yun. It's nothing to be bitten by a water snake. I've been bitten many times before. Chapter 1506. Although the water snake was not very poisonous, the place where Lu Lei's leg was bitten still swelled up. Lu Lei was bitten by the water snake. In the end, it was because he helped her. Zhao Yun felt a little guilty. Since Lu Lei didn't call Dr. Sun, his body must be a little weak since his leg was bleeding. She would go back and catch an old hen and send it to Lu Lei to let him eat it to nourish his body as compensation. Brother Lei, let's bandage this wound. Zhao Yun took a look and said. She was afraid that Lu Lei's wound would be easily infected if it was left to dry. Lu Lei didn't object to Zhao Yun's suggestion. Zhao Yun took out a handkerchief from her sleeve, squatted down, and prepared to bandage Lu Lei's wound. Before she could get close to Lu Lei, she saw someone come over and push her out fiercely. Zhao Yun fell on the ridge of the field. Fortunately, the ground was soft grass, so it didn't hurt too much. Zhao Yun frowned. She looked up and saw Xiao Hong glaring at her angrily. Before Zhao Yun could say anything, Xiao Hong pointed at Zhao Yun's nose and started scolding. Zhao Yun, you bitch. You're too shameless. How dare you seduce my man? At this moment, there were many people working in the field. When Xiao Hong shouted at the top of her voice, the people who were working looked in the direction of Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun was a little displeased and replied, Xiao Hong, don't talk nonsense. Xiao Hong snorted and said, Zhao Yun, when did I talk nonsense? Aren't you seducing my man? You're really shameless. Lu Lei is already married to me, and you still don't know how to avoid getting close to him. Tell me, what do you mean? When Xiao Hong said this, the surrounding villagers began to discuss. They were all people who liked to gossip, so they couldn't help but point and talk. He's injured. His leg is bleeding. I just helped him bandage it. Is that considered seduction? Zhao Yun asked with a sneer. This Xiao Hong's ability to bite people was really strong. She seduced everyone she saw. To put it bluntly, Xiao Hong was just afraid that she would snatch Lu Lei away. She wanted her to keep a distance from Lu Lei so that they would not have a chance to fight for him. What Zhao Yun didn't understand was why Xiao Hong still thought that she might get together with Lu Lei at this time. She already had Mu Lianfeng. Why would she covet another man? He could only say that this woman was too stupid. She clung onto her like a shrew and refused to let go. Xiao Hong was silent for a moment before she said sarcastically, Zhao Yun, my husband is injured. Even if it's bandaging, I should be the one to do it. When did it become your turn? Zhao Yun couldn't be bothered to argue with Xiao Hong. He helped me by picking wild candles. As a result, he was bitten by a snake, so I helped him bandage it. What's wrong with that? Or is it that he helped me and got injured, but I didn't care? Will you scold me for being heartless again? Zhao Yun asked in return. Xiao Hong bit her lower lip. So Lu Lei got injured because he helped Zhao Yun. The thought of Lu Lei doing something for Zhao Yun made Xiao Hong extremely jealous. Xiao Hong knew that Lu Lei's actions meant that he still had Zhao Yun in his heart. Why was this man still unable to let go of Zhao Yun even after marrying her? It was as if Zhao Yun had bewitched him. Chapter 1507. Xiao Hong looked at Zhao Yun with a red face and said, That won't do. My husband is injured. That's my business. I'll come over in the future. It won't be your turn no matter what. Zhao Yun, if you're really shameless, you shouldn't have asked my husband to help you. Why should you have more contact with my husband? He's already married. Don't you know how to avoid it? Zhao Yun didn't know what to say to Xiao Hong. She made it sound like she was deliberately sticking to Lu Lei. At this moment, Lu Lei, who was sitting on the ground, said to Xiao Hong sternly, Xiao Hong, don't talk nonsense. Why are you blaming Yun? I insisted on helping Yun, so it has nothing to do with Yun. After Lu Lei finished speaking, Xiao Hong's expression turned even uglier. She didn't expect that her man would help Zhao Yun. The jealousy in her heart made Xiao Hong even sadder. Why did Lu Lei still keep Zhao Yun in his heart, even though he was already married to her? Was Zhao Yun really that important to him? Husband, you're married to me, so you should avoid it. Otherwise, people will gossip about us. Xiao Hong bit her lower lip and said. Lu Lei frowned and said, Yun, and I didn't do anything openly. Why should we avoid it? If there's gossip, I didn't hear anyone say anything. Instead, I heard you shouting. When Xiao Hong heard this, she choked. Husband, it was clearly Zhao Yun who was in the wrong. She was just saying a few words. Why was Lu Lei talking about her instead? He was obviously helping Zhao Yun. In the end, Zhao Yun's position in Lu Lei's heart was far more important than hers. Xiao Hong, that's enough. Don't make things difficult for Yun. Let's go back, Lu Lei said. Xiao Hong was unwilling to let Zhao Yun off just like that. Husband, do you still have her in your heart? We're already married. Are you really letting me down like this? And Zhao Yun, did you see that my husband married me, and now you regret it and can't bear to part with him? So you came to snatch him from me? You're just looking at what's in the bowl and thinking about what's in the pot. You're still looking forward to the vegetable field outside. Originally, Zhao Yun didn't want to make a fuss with Xiao Hong. For Lu Lei's sake, she didn't want to embarrass everyone. Now that Xiao Hong was clearly going against her, she couldn't show that she had a good temper and not say anything. She replied coldly, Xiao Hong, you're really good at slandering people. If I had seduced Big Brother Lu and couldn't bear to part with him, you wouldn't have had the chance. Although she knew that Zhao Yun was telling the truth, Xiao Hong didn't want to admit it. If you continue to pester endlessly, then don't blame me for being rude. Zhao Yun warned her coldly. Xiao Hong pointed at Zhao Yun angrily. Zhao Yun can you still be reasonable? Don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you have the support of the heir. It's your fault for seducing a married man, and you still want to hit me? Even if this matter reaches the ears of the Crown Prince, the Crown Prince will definitely not side with you. Slap! Suddenly, there was the sound of slap. Zhao Yun's heart trembled. Then, she saw 5 red palm prints on Xiao Hong's face. It was Lu Lei who had slapped Xiao Hong. Chapter 1508. It took a while for Xiao Hong to realize that Lu Lei had slapped her. Husband, you actually hit me. For Zhao Yun, how could you do this? Xiao Hong's eyes were filled with tears as she looked pitifully at Lu Lei. She couldn't believe that Lu Lei would still hit her and protect Zhao Yun at a time like this. Lu Lei said with a cold face, Xiao Hong, don't pester me endlessly. You're embarrassing both others and yourself. If you don't leave, then I'll leave. Lu Lei propped himself up and limped away. Xiao Hong glared at Zhao Yun hatefully, stomped her feet, and hurriedly chased after Lu Lei. Zhao Yun sighed softly as she watched the two of them leave. She really didn't expect that a person with such a good temper like Lu Lei would hit a woman. However, for a woman like Xiao Hong, it seemed like she deserved it. Mother, Dao did tug at the corner of Zhao Yun's clothes. He was frightened by Xiao Hong's scolding just now. Zhao Yun patted Daodu's head and said, Daodu, are you okay? Were you frightened just now? It's okay now. Mother, Daodu has to grow up quickly. That way, Daodu will be tall and strong. Only then will you be able to protect Mother from being bullied. Seeing that Daodu knew how to protect her at such a young age, a touch of warmth emerged in Zhao Yun's heart. Okay, Mother will wait for Daodu to grow up. Zhao Yun tidied up the wild candles and carried the basket on her back. She held Daodu's hand and said, Let's go, Daodu. Let's go back. Okay, Mother. After returning home, Zhao Yun first put down the basket and then put the candles that she had just picked up under the sun. It would probably take a few days for it to dry. If she wanted to use it tonight, she would have to roast it by the fire while cooking to dry the water in the wild candles. That way, she could use it at night to get rid of the mosquitoes. After drying the candles, Zhao Yun wanted to feed Tian. The baby probably slept for too long. After drinking milk, she lay on the bed with her eyes wide open. She didn't sleep for a long time. Zhao Yun picked up Tian. Thinking that her future second cousin-in-law should be here at this moment, she prepared to carry Tian to old Zhao's courtyard to wander around and join in the fun. When Zhao Yun went to old Zhao's house, Xiao Mao was placed in the courtyard of old Zhao's house. The bride's family had already arrived. In addition to Jinju's stepmother, Zhou Damei, Jinju's father, Old Man Jin, was also there. Old Man Jin was estimated to be in his 50s, but he looked to be in his 60s or 70s. His hair was already white, his skin was wrinkled, and his face was old. Unlike other men, Old Man Jin didn't seem to have his own opinions. He sat next to Zhou Damei and let Zhou Damei do the talking. He nodded and didn't say anything else. Zhou Damei didn't say much. Chapter 1509. While the two families were discussing, Jinju and Zhu Eru seemed a little embarrassed. They lowered their heads and listened to their parents talk, but they didn't say anything. Zhao Yun walked over. The other members of the old Zhao family were accompanying them outside. This could be considered a joyous occasion for the old Zhao family. Hu Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan were very happy. However, when he looked at Jinju, there wasn't anything to be picky about. She was pretty, and she was hardworking. However, when Jinju was compared to Shun Pan, she was far worse. Not only was Shun Pan good-looking, but her family background was also very good. When she married into the old Zhao family, not only did she not ask for a single copper coin as a gift, but she also brought a lot of good things from her maternal family to supplement the old Zhao family. Therefore, Hu Chunhua thought that if Jinju could be like Shun Panner, it would be great. She would also bring more dowry back. Therefore, after Zhou Damei and Feng Zhangxia chatted for a while, Hu Chunhua couldn't help but interrupt. I say, in-law, your family's daughter is marrying into our old Zhao family. Do you know if you should give some dowry? Zhou Damei was slightly stunned and frowned. Dowry? Yes. Shouldn't a daughter give a dowry when she marries? You said that your family's conditions are good and you only have one daughter. Shouldn't you give more? After hearing Hu Chunhua's words, old man Jin, who had been silent with his head lowered, suddenly said, I only have one daughter. Her mother left a gold bracelet. Why don't we give it to her as her dowry? Originally, Jinju's mother's gold bracelet was her dowry when she married into the Jin family. Later, Jinju's mother died, and the bracelet fell into Old Man Jin's hands. After Old Man Jin married Zhou Damei, he gave the bracelet to Zhou Damei for safekeeping. Old Man Jin and Jinju's mother only had one child, so this gold bracelet should naturally be left to Jinju. Thinking about Jinju's mother, Old Man Jin felt a little guilty. Since Jinju was getting married, as her father, he had to plan something. If he didn't give Jinju anything, he would naturally feel bad. Because after he married Zhou Damei, this girl didn't have a single good day. Zhou Damei didn't treat Jinfen well, and Old Man Jin was clear in his heart. Now that Jinju was married, it was time for him to make up for it. What belonged to Jinju should be given to Jinju. When old Zhao's family heard that there was a golden bracelet, their eyes immediately lit up. One had to know that a gold bracelet was extraordinary. It was not a silver bracelet or a copper bracelet. Gold bracelets were the most valuable things. It was estimated that a gold bracelet could only be bought with 10 taels of silver. That was equivalent to 2 or 3 mu of farmland. Bringing a gold bracelet over was because it was a generous dowry. How could old Zhao's family not be excited about this? How could old Zhao's family not get excited? When Hu Chunhua heard this, she immediately beamed with joy. Good. This is good. In-law is really straightforward and generous. Normal people probably wouldn't be willing to give it to you. But after hearing Old Man Jin's words, Zhou Damei was immediately unhappy. When Jinju got married, it was already good enough that she didn't make things difficult for her. How could she be willing to give the gold bracelet away now? Of course, the reason why Zhou Damei was willing to marry Jinju off so quickly was that she thought that after Jinju left, the gold bracelet would truly become hers. Chapter 15:10. She had already given in, but this damned old man was still thinking about his daughter. It was all because of the seed left by his ex-wife. Zhou Damei poked Old Man Jin and said, Old man, what nonsense are you talking about? This golden bracelet is for our son to go to school. If we give it to Jinju, what will happen if our son has no money to go to school? Where are you going to get the money? Old Man Jin was a little afraid of Zhou Damei. After Zhou Damei spoke so fiercely, Old Man Jin weakly replied, But this is something left behind by Ju Er's mother. Shouldn't it be given to Ju Er? It's no big deal if we give it to Ju. Zhou Damei glared at Old Man Jin fiercely. You're still thinking about a daughter. Don't tell me you don't want our family to live. For so many years, I've served you and worked myself to death for this family. Don't tell me it's not worth a golden bracelet. You heartless person, I must have been blind to follow you back then. After Old Man Jin was reprimanded, he lowered his head and was so scared that he couldn't speak. The guilt in his heart towards Jinju deepened. As a father, he might not be able to fight for anything. Just like before, He clearly knew that Zhou Damei didn't treat Jinju well, but he didn't say anything to Zhou Damei because he knew that it wasn't easy to marry a wife. It would cost a lot of money. If he forced Zhou Damei away, then he would have to be a bachelor for the rest of his life and could only wrong his daughter. And for so many years, he had always given in to Zhou Damei and let her bully him. Basically, when Zhou Damei decided on something, he wouldn't say anything. Jinju saw Old Man Jin's helplessness and Zhou Damei's aggressive appearance. She knew very well that it would be more difficult than ascending to heaven for Zhou Damei to spit out the golden bracelet. When she married Zhu Eru, she was already very grateful that Zhou Damei didn't make things difficult for her. So she didn't intend to fight with Zhou Damei for this golden bracelet. After all, as Zhou Damei said, her younger brother still had to go to school. Her younger brother was Zhou Damei's child and also her father's child. They were related by blood. She didn't have any objections to let her brother study and bring glory to the Jin family. Jinju said coldly, "Father, mother, you can keep the golden bracelet. I don't need it." When Zhou Damei heard this, she was overjoyed. She poked Old Man Jin and said, "I say, old man, did you hear that? Zhu already said no. This girl is more sensible. He knows what's good for our Jin clan." Old Man Jin looked up at Jinju, his eyes filled with guilt. "Zhu, Dad, I really don't need it." Jinju emphasized again. Jinju didn't want it, but old Zhao's family was unhappy. How could he be willing to let go of something that was clearly in his hands? Hua Chunhua looked at Jinju with dissatisfaction. She scolded Jinju in her heart for being useless. She didn't even know how to bring some benefits to her in-laws. A golden bracelet. How many good things could he exchange for? Hua Chunhua was even more dissatisfied with Jinju after such a disturbance. However, he didn't say anything. Although Feng Zhangxia didn't have any objections, it was better for his daughter-in-law to bring some good things over. Naturally, he also hoped that Jinju would bring more dowry, so that their first branch's life would be better. "Old man, the girl said no, so she doesn't want it. We'll keep it for ourselves." Chapter 15:11. In fact, Zhou Damei couldn't bear to part with 6 quilts. After all, 6 quilts added up to a lot of money. However, if she went overboard, it would definitely make Old Man Jin unhappy. Zhou Damei didn't want to cause so much trouble. Feng Zhangxia smiled and said, Okay. You can say whatever you want, in-law." Hua Chunhua looked unhappy and said, "Just 6 quilts. What's the big deal? Our old Zhao's family isn't an ordinary family. That's all we can give." Hua Chunhua's grumbling was not loud, but everyone who was sitting could hear it. Feng Zhangxia was afraid that the bride's family would be unwilling and miss the marriage, so she patted Hua Chunhua and said, "Mother, the bride's family can give as much as they want. We're fine. The man usually gives more. How can we ask the bride's family to give more?" Hua Chunhua snorted and didn't say anything. She still felt a little uncomfortable. Zhou Damei and Feng Zhangxia chatted for a while. Jinju and Zhu Eru's marriage had been settled. It wouldn't be long before Jinju would marry over. Zhu Eru was looking forward to it very much. He couldn't wait for Jinju to marry him as soon as possible. Then, he could be with Jinju and see her every day. Fortunately, they didn't have to wait for too long. It would be over soon. Seeing that it was getting late, Feng Zhangxia said, In-law, let's have lunch at my house today. I prepared a lot of dishes." Basically, when the bride's family came over, they would definitely stay for lunch. Zhou Damei and Old Man Jin said a few polite words and didn't refuse. Zhou Damei got up and prepared lunch. Because the bride's family was coming over today, and it was related to old Zhao's family, Feng Zhangxia and the other branches of the old Zhao's family early in the morning. They would all have lunch at her house today. For this, Feng Zhangxia bought a caddy of meat and caught an old hen at home. She cooked a few more dishes for lunch and prepared a sumptuous meal. If she cooked a lot, Feng Zhangxia naturally couldn't do alone. However, Qian Zhuzhao promised Feng Zhangxia to help, so it was faster to work together. Because there were still workers at home, The third branch had to cook by themselves, so they pushed Feng Zhangxia away and didn't eat together at noon. After a while, smoke began to rise from the kitchen of old Zhao's house. He was busy cooking. When Zhou Damei saw the meat and chicken, she couldn't help but praise in her heart. This old Zhao's family was really rich. How could an ordinary family be able to eat such good food? It would already be good enough if they could buy half a caddy of meat when they were receiving guests. She began to regret not bringing the other children in the family to eat together. If I had known earlier, I would have come over as a family and let the kids eat something delicious. Zhou Damei whispered into Old Man Jin's ear. Old Man Jin frowned and said, "Forget it. It's too troublesome for the whole family to come over. Let's just stay with Ju. You old man, did you see that they have prepared such good food? Our children usually don't even get to eat meat. What's wrong with bringing some over? Hey, if you can't do it, you can go to town and buy some. If you bring it over, each person can have a bite. In fact, the children can't eat much. Didn't you see that there were so many people together at noon?" Zhou Damei said unhappily. Okay. I'm too lazy to talk to you. You old man, you don't know how to live. Your family has prepared so many sumptuous things to entertain us. We're a little embarrassed to just sit here and do nothing. In the future, when Ju marries into your family, it's natural for her to help with some work. But you're too polite. Zhao Tianhu smiled. Auntie, it's okay. There's really no need. Chapter 15:13. Zhao Tianhu didn't have anything against Shunpan. He was just casually saying the truth. Ever since his sister-in-law married into old Zhao's family, she hadn't done any housework. Most of the housework was done by his mother or other aunts. Now that they had split from the family, there weren't many things to do. His mother basically did all the housework alone. At most, Shunpan would take care of the children. So, when Jinju married into his family, she wouldn't have to suffer too much. When Zhou Damei heard Zhao Tianhu's words, she couldn't help but sigh. What? Your sister-in-law has never done any housework? In the countryside, which daughter-in-law could have such a comfortable life? If Jinju married into his family, wouldn't she be living a happy life every day? Zhao Tianhu nodded and said, "Yes, my sister-in-law has never done any housework. Even if she did, it was very rare." Zhou Damei opened her mouth in disbelief. Or rather, she found it hard to accept. After all, if she had a daughter-in-law, she would definitely send her to work every day. How could she not do any housework? It wasn't easy for a daughter-in-law to become a mother-in-law, so she would have to order her around. How could she not do anything? Old Zhao's family was really interesting. Just as Zhao Qianhu was talking about Shunpan happened to come out of the house with Zhao Yangyang. Zhao Tianhu pointed at Shunpan and said, "Auntie, this is my sister-in-law." Zhou Damei's gaze landed on Shunpan. Shunpan was wearing a lake blue dress and some jewelry. She looked even prettier than before. She was completely different from the people in the countryside. She had a unique aura, just like a young lady from a rich family. But after hearing what Hua Chunhua said, Shunpan seemed to be a young lady from a rich family. No wonder she didn't do any housework. Old Zhao's family was like this. It wasn't easy for him to marry a young lady from a rich family. If he made her do housework, she would inevitably be unhappy. Zhou Damei stared at Shunpan's hands and sighed. Tsk. Her hands are so beautiful even though they haven't worked before. They're so white and tender. They're different from our Jew-er's hands. If Zhou Damei hadn't said anything, no one would have noticed. After she said that, everyone looked at Jinju's hand. Jinju probably worked a lot at home, so her hands were very rough. She was only in her teens, but they looked like the hands of someone who was decades old. When Zhao Tianhu saw this, he felt a lot of heartache. Jinju felt a little uncomfortable being stared at. She quickly pulled her sleeves and retracted her hands back into her sleeves. Zhao Tianhu comforted her. "It's okay. When you marry into our family in the future, you'll be like my sister-in-law. You don't have to do too much work." Slowly, Your hands will recover. When Zhou Damei heard this, she smiled and said to Jinju, "Little girl, listen, your future man treats you so well." Then he turned to Old Man Jin and said, "Old man, did you see that? When Zhuer marries over, she definitely won't suffer. She's lucky to have found such a good family." When Old Man Jin heard this, his eyes became a little moist. When he thought about how his daughter would live a good life in old Zhao's family in the future, as a father, he was naturally happy for his daughter. Thus, he nodded and said, "Yes, Zhuer is a lucky child. We didn't make the wrong choice." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.